Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications as you're coming in. Today, we're talking about Anthony O'Neill. Surprise, it's not a virgin, he's not celibate. Chanel Scott, we're going to talk about Chanel Scott. I felt like God was telling me the bishop was my husband. We're also going to talk about a super story today. I've lost control. My wife, feminism, and mother-in-law from hell. And of course, we're going to talk about the secret to bringing Mowry and Cory Hardrict back together, hopefully forever. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe as you're coming in. We're getting started. We're warming up. Help me hit the like button. I will be back in no time.
Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So I got so the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us in your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a love fun eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. He was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so tough. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes are killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk. She must be from the planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger. We look good together. Take your place in my heart. With your beauty I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
So the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. What beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time
time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts, call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and culture, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it, beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing time. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Man of prestige. Ha! Now this guy win. Now you win. Now you win today. Now you win. I agree. Man of prestige. Now man you be.
I'm sure some people will be jealous now the way I talk about Ola, but I have learned a lot from him. That's why I keep telling you to follow him. If you don't follow Man of Prestige, now you know.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit, like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, what's going on? Welcome. Let's get the show started. We have a few things to cover today. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. I don't think I've done Sunday in a while. So, we're changing things up a little bit. We're testing different things to see what works and what sticks. So we're going to keep throwing it around like that until we get it right. But welcome. As long as I keep showing up, Abby. But welcome. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Shout out to my sponsors, everybody that's donating, and you hit super chat, all that kind of stuff. So thank you. And I want to say a special shout out to our clients who have kept us busy. If you're considering becoming a client, what do I mean by client? A life, relationship, marriage coaching clients, you can reach us over here. The information is scrolling on the screen. manofprestige.com 732-305-8577. The country code is +1. Okay, or you can just go to the website. Everything is up there. You can also download this book for free, the audio books for free through manofprestige.com. Welcome. So today, like I've said in the beginning of the session, we're definitely covering stories about Anthony O'Neill. Who is Anthony O'Neill? It's a YouTuber. It's a content creator. It's a few things. But he used to work with Dave Ramsey on TV, financial guru stuff. So he's also a financial guru. I think we're also going to talk about Chanel Scott, a young lady, 53-year-old young lady who was featured, 51, I think, was featured on Dear Future Wifey. We're going to talk about that. We have a super story today that we're going to cover about somebody's wife, feminism, mother-in-law from hell, and all of that. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about Mowry and Cory Hardrict talking about the secret that they can get back together. Happy Sunday. Who's in the chat? Jim. Welcome, Jim. Priscilla, welcome. Good to see you all. All right. So we're definitely going to be diving in. Again, I am a marriage coach, relationship coach, life coach. with the help of my wife. So we're here to serve you. So today, whatever stories we cover today, the idea is to have some fun, but also extract real life and relationship lessons, particularly from a from a self-power, social seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. That's where we're going to tackle things from. So you will see me quite a lot push back at anybody who come here and act like they're holier than thou. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, welcome back. Let me share this video with you and then we'll take it from there. So let's listen to this video. Let me know if you can hear the audio, by the way. Thank you.
Men who confess Christianity willing to wait. Why am I making more specific? Are you, as a Christian man who confess Christianity, willing to wait until marriage for sex? Are you honestly celibate or abstinent?
So no, I have not abstained. I'm gonna be very honest about that. And I think that's a problem with Christian men, single men. We say the right things on stage when we get in front of the body of the Christ, but we won't be honest.
Teach.
So the mature part of me will sit here and say, no, I have not been abstinent. Am I willing to wait? Absolutely. Here's my only concern, not as a pastor, not representing Change Church. We got to stop saying that the right person will wait, because that could be the right person and you're still having sex with the right person. It's the heart. And I agree with what she just said. If y'all are willing to step away and get it right.
Oh my God. This man will explain tired. Who's Anthony O'Neill? Let me make sure I do the needful before I go too far into this. Anthony O'Neill is a financial guru. That's what it was originally known for. But in recent times, he's been a lot of his rhetoric is around God. God told me. I feel like God was telling me that, all that kind of stuff. Well, all that is cute until real life tests all of us, right? So, but let me make sure that I give him his proper. Anthony O'Neill is the national best-selling author of Graduate Survival Guide, 5 Mistakes You Can't Afford to Make in College, and travels the country spreading his encouraging message to help teens and young adults transition into the real world. I've covered him in the past. I think he's like 39, 40 years old, never been married, walking red flag, of course. I went from being 19 and $35,000 in debt to #1 national best-selling author, course creator, host, speaker, educator. My debt-free life is full of. Okay, so this guy is obviously a very, very smart, intelligent guy. But you know what I found in recent times? They're the one that struggled the most when it comes to this romantic thing. So let me play a little bit more and then we'll keep going.
And get before God, get before pastor. It doesn't matter really where you are. I think we put so much emphasis on sex, but I know virgins who are going to hell. And so for me, matter really where you are. I think we put so much emphasis on sex, but I know virgins who are going to hell. And
he knows virgins who are going to hell. Jesus.
Explain. We got no evidence.
Oh Lord. I don't know what is gonna happen here. Let's go.
So for me, I'm just gonna keep it above. And so for me, everything that we said, I'm just being honest. It's like, listen to what the pastor there just said. He didn't just harp on purity. He said, is this man a man? Is he a leader? Yes, he loves people. And so for me, I'm
Did it say he's a pastor too? I think it says something about it's a youth pastor or something like that. Well, I think he used to be a youth pastor at the church. I'm not sure if he's still an active pastor, but once it's ordained, right? Let's keep going.
not just focused on trying to abstain from sex. I'm trying to be the daggone best man God has made me to be. And being that man, I will fall. It may not be with sex, but I may fall and cut somebody out. That's
No. But the question was about sex.
We go explain. Because no evidence.
Not so easy. The question was about sex. But nice try. Let's keep going.
being real. Yeah. So I'm trying to grow as that man.
Yummy. Let me get some opinions in the. Do you guys need me to play? Some of you might just be coming in. If you need me to play back again, let me know. I'll play back again. Anthony O'Neill is not a virgin or celibate. And guess who was mad? They're not having it. They're not having me. I'm like, okay. It's not like I care what you are, but since you're talking, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You guys want me to play it again? I'll play it again. Let me play it again. Let's see here.
Sex, are you honestly celibate or abstinent?
So no, I have not
Let's talk
abstained.
about
I'm gonna be very honest about that. And I think that's a problem with Christian men. Single men will be.
Wait. I have not. Should be the simple answer. Wait, are you?
The marriage for sex, are you honestly celibate or abstinent?
Are you honestly celibate or abstinent?
So no, I have not
Let's talk
abstained.
about
I'm gonna be very honest about that. And I think that's a problem with Christian men.
No. We're not asking you about the problems with Christian men. This is the issue. They have to explain it. They have to explain.
Explain. Because no evidence.
It's no, I am not. I'm not practicing that. And I'm planning to start tomorrow, or I don't care for that. I don't believe in that. All right. It should be that simple. But of course, he must explain.
We go explain. Because no evidence.
Oh, well, let's hear the explanation.
Single men, we say the right things on stage when we get in front of the body of the Christ, but we won't be honest.
No, the reality is that a lot of people do that. They say all the right things, but yeah, like you're about to do right now. But let's keep going.
So the mature part of me was here and
That's
say, no,
welcome.
I have not been abstinent. Am I willing to wait? Absolutely. Here's my only concern, not as a pastor, not
No, that should have ended too. That was nice. Like, am I willing to wait? Yes, absolutely. But no, let me say all the right things again. Let me justify the fact that I'm having sex as a young man. Not young, he's 40. This guy is, how old is, let me see his actual age. Let me see if I can find it. Oh God. I think it should be about 40. A little while back it was 38 or something like that. So I've actually followed him for a while. He was born in 1984. Oh yeah, he's 40. He's 40. Exactly. He's 40. But let's keep going.
willing to wait. Absolutely. Here's my only concern, not as a pastor, not representing Change Church. We got to stop saying that the right person will wait, because that could be the right person and you're still having sex with the right person. It's the heart. And I agree with what she just said.
Will the right person wait? People do say that. Is it necessarily true? No, it is not. The wrong person will wait too. Okay. But that's not the original question. Hey, Esther, good to see you, Esther. Yes, he was justifying himself. That's not the right. He's answering the wrong question. It's true that we got to stop telling people. Do we have to stop? No, we have to stop. It's religion. They don't have to stop anything, by the way. They can just do whatever their religion asks them to do, or whatever their faith asks them to do. They don't have to. They have to say what their faith tells them to do. Whatever standards, moral compass they want to sow in the heart of their followership, that's what they need to do. They don't have to do nothing. But you can also tell us the truth. You can also just say, no, I'm not celibate. No, I'm not a virgin without the shalaye, but it's still talking. It's a pastor. So I see why. But this, again, very smart, intelligent guy. I know that once he was done with this shalaye, let me give you a quick secret. Once you're done with the shalaye, you still don't feel right. Something is still
We
missing.
go explain. Because no evidence.
If anything, you feel drained. You feel like, I spent all that energy doing explanation for these people, but yeah, they basically said these nuts. Let's keep going.
That if y'all are willing to step away and get it right and get before God, get before pastor,
That's what you're supposed to be doing when you're being celibate.
get before pastor, it doesn't matter really where you are. I think we put so much emphasis on
Even if you're inside of a kwekus, it doesn't really matter where you are. I know what he's trying to say.
sex, but I know virgins who are going to hell. And so for me, I'm just gonna keep it above. And so for me, everything that we said, I'm just being honest. It's like, listen to what the pastor there just said. He didn't harp on purity. He said, is this man a man? Is he a leader? Does he love people? And so for me, I'm not just focused on trying to abstain from sex. I'm trying to be the daggone best man God has made me to be. And
Can we start by abstaining from sex before talking in generals? Okay, let's start by just stay away from kwekus a little bit. You're 40-year-old. You've had all you can have anyway. Hopefully, maybe not. I don't know. But the explanation,
and being that man, I will fall. It may not be with sex, but I may fall and cut somebody
you already fell. Okay, all right. That was in the past.
out. That's being real. Yeah. So I'm trying to grow as that man.
All right, before they talk, the last thing I want to do is judge him, of course. I don't want to judge him. The reality is that some of these guys, even, I don't know if all these ones on this table right now are all virgins, but the reality is that a lot of people in church are not practicing what they preach, including abstaining from sex. That's literally none of your business. If you say you want to abstain from sex, just follow your own path and try your best to do what you commit to doing. Right? Just try your best to stay committed to what you say you will do. The problem here is the shalaye. That's the problem here. Are you abstaining from sex? No, I'm not. I'm praying for the grace of God. Humility. I'm praying for the grace of God to help me. That's absolutely something I would like to do. Nobody, I promise you, nobody will judge him if he says that. But you see, the same spirit that he was tackling, that people should stop saying that, that's exactly what he just did. He literally just did it. He spent the first 1 minute and 44 seconds. Let's just say 1 minute and 40 seconds. Let's take the 4 seconds out for the question, to basically do shalaye of why he's not abstaining from sex as a pastor. That is problematic, not because of the sex itself, it's because the explanation lacks humility. It's an indication of lack of humility. And it's actually it's more, for me personally, in my opinion, it's more of a major flaw than actually having sex itself. Is the lack of I don't want to call it transparency. There's another word I'm looking for. There's something missing there, right? It's not authentic. That's the problem with, again, shalaye. It's never really authentic. It's a need to justify the bullshit when you can just simply say human beings will continue to perpetuate and participate in bullshit. That's the whole point of saying abstain from sex, do the right thing, follow these guides. That's because we know that we're human beings and sometimes we fall. See, all the extra talk he did, all the shalaye.
Explain. Because no evidence.
He's basically just preaching to the choir. Sadly, he's preaching to the choir. Esther said, I will judge him. Oh yeah, explain. You will judge him how? The Bible said, thou shalt not judge. Matthew 7:1. You're not allowed to judge. You're not allowed to judge. Yeah, it's not accountable. Absolutely, Black Diamond. It's not accountable. And he wasn't required to be accountable outside of when he gave the answer. But once he gave the answer that I am not, all in here to say I am not. No, I am not. You're a 40-year-old man. Really, if you say I am not celibate, I'm not a virgin, and you're a 40-year-old man, and somebody start to drag you because, quote unquote, you claim you're a Christian or something like that, I think a lot of people will say, okay, stop judging him. Now, the part that you're a pastor, yes, you might get dragged, but that's the responsibility that comes with that title. Even people that are committing the same problems with you will judge you too. It's just, it should be expected, you know. And you can plead the fifth, because if you plead the fifth, you're basically saying, no, I am a hypocrite. It's a struggle. So he has a choice here. I don't know if I think it was put on the spot. I don't know if he could have done anything right. Because then if he lied, he's a liar, right? But then he still lied because he said, I'm not, and then he went on to do shalaye. In my opinion, that is actually worse than lying.
You go explain, because no evidence.
Let's hear what the rest of them have to say.
I got a lot to say.
Okay, Jeremiah, you start us off, sir.
Here's my question. And I'm saying this because my new church is multicultural. My former church was black. Why do we at black churches get the most charismatic person to be on panels for stuff like this, and then when it comes out, like you shocked, like in my mind, I'm like, y'all don't have nobody that's really like, you don't want to come to no singles meeting and be like, oh yeah, he's fornicating, so it is what it like. So y'all chose this brother because he got a following, he charismatic, and he basically up on stage saying, I'm not saying we're not perfect, but I'm just saying this is like, it is what it is. And that's different than God help me with the struggle. It is what it is like,
I agree.
we could do whatever.
It's different.
Go ahead,
it's
man.
different from saying he's not committed to his covenant.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, did he say as a pastor of Change Church, or is he saying to the pastor?
Not as a pastor.
Not as a pastor.
Oh, okay.
They're saying as a regular believer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the part I was.
Look at this, the name of this one. Look at the name of this one on the screen. They have his name on the screen. The guy that's talking right now, his name is Ryan Righteous. You can't make this shit up.
That is God.
He can't make it up. He can't make it up. I guess that's okay. He has the right to call himself Ryan Righteous. Okay, but let's keep going. I guess we're about to hear something.
I was stuck on. I was like, whoa, because the fact that he said I do not abstain, it means that he's not trying. That's what it sounds like.
I'm
to
not
me.
even in the process of abstaining.
Sounds like willful sin.
Willful sin.
He's saying like, I just haven't.
Nah.
I've been trying, but I'm struggling.
Sounds like it's not a big concern for him.
Because to me, I wonder when he said you could be having sex with the right person, it's just the wrong time.
Let me make it a little faster.
Well, the person that you should be with should be trying to abstain as well, and then not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so I'm gonna ask you this: do y'all know anybody who y'all know have successful marriage now? Who believers who did not have sex before they got married?
That
he said this guy just asked a very good question. Although I think the question will fall on his face immediately, because again, people are never really genuine with this kind of conversations, because it's faith-based. They're going to not be genuine, and they have a good reason to not be genuine. They will just call it faith talk, right? Kingdom talk. That's what they'll call it. But listen to the question.
If should be trying to abstain as well, and then not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so I'm gonna ask you this. Do y'all know anybody who y'all know has successful marriage now who believers who did not have sex before they got married?
Do you know anybody who are believers, successful marriage, but they did not have sex before marriage? Do you know anybody? That's the question. Let's see what the answers are.
That did not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do.
What you mean?
That's rare.
Let's say that again.
I don't know many people who saved or unsaved or whatever. Like, I don't know many people who did not have sex. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's cool.
Yeah, another layer of the question is that most people that have successful marriages today, but they did not have sex. Like one straight formula to that is that don't have sex before marriage. It's a good question. I don't think the answer to it is going to help anything, honestly. I think there are deeper reasons to abstain. For people who want to abstain, than just the goal of having a good marriage. Because if that's your reason, you're going to fail. Because like I always say here, that is not a skill set. If anything, you're abstaining, especially if you're a virgin, you have no idea what you're abstaining from. It doesn't mean you don't have a urge. That's the normal pushback. Oh, but yeah, we have urge too. That's the shalaye again right there. You've never had sex, so you don't know what we're talking about to a large extent. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean you don't have urge, right? But you see, there's multiple layers to it, right? The point is that, do you know anybody, right? Nobody's going to give an authentic answer to that than the person that's asking the question. This person is driving at a point. Like, okay, that is not really a formula. It still doesn't explain why that guy was trying to justify himself if he's a pastor and he's supposed to be held to certain standards. Now, he could come out and say, I'm a pastor. And no, I'm not abstaining. There's Pastor Jamal Bryant, I think. I don't think he's walking around talking about his abstaining. And if he did, he could be lying. We don't know if he's lying or not. He won't be the first time or the last time he lied, right? It's a very complicated conversation that people get caught up in, and they waste a lot of energy discussing it rather than discussing the skill set to actually attract the right person and sustain a healthy marriage. People would rather talk about abstaining and virginity than talk about the skill set involved in attracting the right person and sustaining a good marriage, right? What people would rather talk about, say, hey, may God not allow you to marry the wrong person. And they will say that, and that's the end of the conversation. That's what most people are doing. Am I lying? I'm not lying. I'll answer for myself. I'm not lying.
It's okay. But I don't know, when I listened to him, I wasn't really
hit the like button.
It's a lot of folks who are not perfect out here before. I think he was probably a little nervous because he already ruffled the women up a little bit. But I think what he was saying is a lot of people, you may not be perfect before your marriage. You may have somebody who y'all compatible on a lot of levels, but y'all may be really physically attracted to one another, and you need to get some accountability. You need to go to your pastor. You need to put things in place. You need to go over this house this time of night to do this and do that. We have the compatibility. We just not operating correctly. We need to try to find a way to put that on hold. And he gave an example of somebody on stage who said, yeah.
That's why some people will say, hey, once you meet somebody that you're compatible in that way, it shouldn't be longer than 6 months. If you're a person of a certain age, you're 38, 39, 40, and you're compatible with a person in that way, the only reason why you're not getting married in 6 months is fear. No, you can't tell me you can't find $30 to go down to the city hall and get married. The only reason why you're not doing it is fear. And by the way, you will explain that fear in so many other different ways that doesn't sound exactly.
We go explain because no evidence.
It's fear. That's the only reason why you wouldn't do it. Now, there's also some social constructs around that. As a lady, you can't be asking for your own hands in marriage, right? You can, but it will be completely against the norm, and that's a real thing you have to consider, right? As a man, you're basically just leading that person on and on and on and on, and it's been 2 years, it's 3 years, it's 4, 5, 6 years, and you're now 35, and then you're talking about celibacy. What is celibacy and so I almost said celebrity. You're talking about celibacy and virginity. Are you whining?
Not be juju be that.
You're a human being. That's why you do the right thing so that you can now start to build a life together. Right. Let's keep going.
We were doing this, but we got accountability, got help. We chilled out until we got married, then we resumed what we were doing. You know what I'm saying?
James, it don't sound like he was saying all that.
It
wasn't saying that.
To cuss you out.
Yeah,
it was like I'm just me.
No, we've covered Anthony O'Neill here before. He's a walking red flag. There's a real reason why he's not married. Now, it's also a valid reason, right? But that is still a walking red flag. Whoever is going to get with Anthony O'Neill, he knows way too much. That's one of the problems of waiting way too long. You know, way too much. They can finish your no matter what wisdom of talk you're bringing to the table, they can finish it for you. The issue is a disconnect from the actual results that they desire. What is the disconnect? Well, it's going to take a lot of humility to get to that. Well, it's a lot harder to be humble when you are highly achieved, like an Anthony O'Neill. If you're making $1 million a year and you're 38, 39, 40, and you haven't been able to, and you've had some failures, all those failures will become additional layers of trauma that you have to walk through, right? So that's part of the struggle you're just seeing right here. So at the same time, it's pastoring people, and it's expected to be held to certain standard. And then this whole thing is a moving target. right? So now they have the transformational church, the church of change. The ones, the Gen Zs, where they can wear earrings 3 times over around the ears and pierce their nose and all this kind of stuff. And they're supposed to be accepted, except when it comes to telling the whole public, like, wait, I'm a human being, I'm having sex, I am smashing, right? It's difficult because, let me be honest with you, don't tell anybody. If you're a pastor, you're 40 and you're not married, you're smash, I will judge you. Okay, I might know how to say I'm not judging, like on a public platform, like let's not judge and that kind of stuff. At the very minimum, at the back of my mind, I will judge you. Like, you're supposed to be a pastor. What happened? I know what happened. You're hanging around these streets. You're in the streets. You belong to the streets. In the name of Jesus. But of course, it's very hard to get through it. It's very possible. He needs a coach. No. Anthony O'Neill is one of the biggest advocates for therapy. Okay, he probably goes to therapy about 3, 4, 5 times a week. At least he will claim it. I'm exaggerating a little bit, right? No, what he needs is a coach, meaning it comes with accountability. Okay, it comes with, they won't push you too hard. We don't push too hard, but we're still gonna hold you accountable. That's a major part of engaging a coach and a mentor. Right? Let's keep going.
It sounds like
what James got.
I just don't see him on stage saying, "Excuse me, Pastor," but I'm just gonna have to say, I just didn't see that. I don't know.
It sounds to me like he's not very concerned.
He wasn't trying to do that. It's the shalai. He talked too much. He wasn't trying to say, "Hey, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do," but he talked too much.
This is something he's like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't do that. It don't sound like he's trying to do it.
I don't practice it.
It sounds like there's a lot of Christians who feel like it's impossible. So I think he kind of falls into that mold of, I'll work on everything else about my life except that part. Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I got from it.
Michael is about to retire. All right. Here's what's going into his retirement.
Yeah. He's not working on everything else in his life either. I don't think so. At least not the romantic part of his life. The guy talks about getting married all the time. I think he's just struggling. Esther said he's a red flag. I agree. Oh, but he said I'm not supposed to judge him. Yeah, we're not supposed to, but we do. That's what every one of us need to realize. You're going to be judged by humans, even though they know they're not supposed to judge. We're all hypocrites. That's the point.
If I meet the right,
I'll work on everything else about my life except that part. Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I got from it, I haven't abstained, but I can if I meet the right woman and that's what she wants to do.
What?
I'm willing to. Well, that's what it said. Because he said I haven't, but I will, or I can.
So if you can't control that beast.
Right now.
No, it is. That's passion is your flesh. If you can't control that prior to y'all getting together, if she is like, okay, you're leading me because you're the man, or you're leading me, but at this same time, I'm tempting you, it's gonna be worse.
So this is why it matters, because it goes back to the last point, and this is maybe why he's getting signals from the women and they're sharing information, because he's not willing to submit this part of his life. Yeah. This is very important. You shouldn't be saying, oh, I won't have sex before marriage as a man if that's what my future wife wants to do. You should be leading that. Yeah, that should be yours.
But it's backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I go back to this, like, following the Lord is tough. Even though he says my burden, my commands are not a burden, the sin that we live in, you know what I'm saying? It is tough. And
it is tough. In this panel right here, she happens to be the realest among them. When I was listening to it earlier on, in my opinion, she happened to be the realest among them. And I think she says she's married too. It's like no wonder. So a lot of people are not married and they just fantasize about all these ideologies. Yes, some of the stuff you're trying to follow from the Bible is something that was prescribed to you in that way from a pastor. And that pastor is a lot of time is questionable if they're living the lifestyle they're prescribing. But that's neither here nor there, because if they prescribe it to you and tag onto you, you're finding value in it. If you find value in it, make sure it's backed by proper purpose. But let me see here. Jim say, is it possible beyond beauty? Is it possible he just doesn't want to marry? this guy wants to marry. Because I follow him. Again, he's a financial guru. He has other content. I'm talking about Anthony O'Neill now. In fact, let me show you guys who Anthony O'Neill is, just in case anybody's here who doesn't know who it is. So, young man, very handsome young man too. He is, is a very good speaker. Because again, he was on TV, on a major TV show with Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is the ultimate financial guru on the Fox network. He left not too long ago, but he managed to maintain his success. This is Dave Ramsey right here, in case you don't know who he is. He talks about marriage so many times. Now, unless you're saying maybe internally he shouldn't be married, but he wants marriage. But I know that he said that he wants marriage, okay? And he's been in a relationship. He actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I actually think it was actually engaged. There was an engagement that he broke up, something like that. This lady in green didn't hear Anthony. The lady, let me see who is in green again. Let me see who is in green now. No. She was sharing some. She was sharing some insights beyond what Anthony said. He's protecting his money over marriage. That's another angle. He might be red-pilled. There might be a camouflage red-pill guy walking around the streets. Maybe he's just afraid of women in general. He's definitely operating from a place of fear. You see, when you have to mark every checkpoint, everything has to be right before you can marry. It's fear now. It's just what it is, and that doesn't mean it's all the way a bad thing. It's a bad thing if he stops you from progressing. That's when it becomes a bad thing. And for a lot of people in this generation, it is stopping them from progressing. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that's what's happening. Let's keep going.
We live in America, where sex is from here to the ceiling. I mean, it is in the everything.
He's saying there's sex everywhere, in every image, everything. So to abstain, it's not easy. Every TV show you watch, every Tyler Perry, who is also a saved man, you watch, there's always a sex scene and all that kind of stuff.
And so
hamburger commercial, you gonna see
everything. It's in everything. It's starting to become in children's shows. I mean, it's now your identity.
Yeah.
So the real question Maya need to be asking this year is like, do you leave with your sexual identity, or do you know what I'm saying, as your belief? So it's really, really hard. And I wasn't a virgin before I got married. Because by the
way, that could be another reason why she's open to entertaining the shalaye a little bit more. Maybe because she can relate. But we all operate like that. If you can relate, we have a little bit more grace. So let's keep going.
Was told was don't have sex before you get married.
Fact.
And don't get pregnant.
Fact.
What I'm supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that? As a 16, 17-year-old girl, I love him. You know what I mean? We're gonna get married. Like you can't just stick a Band-Aid on a faucet and expect to not to have.
That's
a
what
problem.
Christianity literally
and that's the issue. So I think I agree with Plain James, because I don't think he's saying that it's something that he's not open to. I think that he's never been given the language outside of don't have sex before marriage. But how do you combat that?
There's forgiveness for if you have sex before marriage. But if you are presently today saying that I love Jesus and I'm following him, if a man is not willing to say, regardless of you, I am committing my body to Christ. I am not having sex before marriage. And even if you want to, the answer is no.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, that's a red flag. That means you're counting.
Yeah, but that's the problem with this conversation. He was already a red flag before we talk about virginity or celibacy. See, they're talking about all the wrong stuff. That's the problem with this. They're talking about all the wrong stuff. Let me see some of this comment. The comment section is the best. They're still winning. Dear future wife, I think this is the terrorist himself. Yep, that's him. He said, "This is my first time watching this podcast. I love that we're finally having these conversations as believers. James is so balanced in his perspective while using the word to confirm it. The WOG, women of God to the left of him, spoke a word that will heal those who demonize their bodies." That's a good point that she made. Go watch the video. She talked about how let me see if I can get to it actually, because I think it's a very, very important part of the conversation. Let me see. There's a virgin lady there who also spoke. Let me see.
Like we're putting responsibilities on him, and he may not even be that deep in it. He may just be like a Republican Democrat believer. You know?
But if he is, red flag.
Right.
Nah,
We're honestly responding to what he's saying.
This is not it.
You know, we're responding to what he's
I'll
saying.
listen to
Like
this.
he said, as an example, my testimony in itself is proof that God can sustain. I'm 31.
She's
I'll be
the
32
virgin.
in 2 weeks. Woo woo. I'm still a virgin.
Birthday. Praise
31,
God.
32, still a virgin.
God can sustain. Like he said, people stumble, have stumbled, but I realize you have to be submitted to God. You have to understand that the word is the word. God is not a God that he shall lie. Anything that I submit to God, he can give me better. And that is what drives you. God will sustain you. I have a brother and sister in Christ that I love dearly. They dated for 5 years, didn't kiss till marriage. And there's
They dated for 5 years, didn't kiss didn't kiss. Listen.
better. And that is what drives you. God will sustain you.
Listen to
I
this
have a brother
carefully.
and sister in Christ that I love dearly. They dated for 5 years, didn't kiss till marriage. And there's
The question: how long have you been?
They didn't kiss or something. I didn't hear what she said. And they did it for 5 years. That's reckless behavior. Straight up. And that should not be used as a cookie cutter example for anybody, because most people cannot sustain that, even when they say God will sustain me. Again, we're human beings. If you know that you want to abstain, everything as much as possible should be intentional. You shouldn't be doing no more than 6 months to 1 year. Especially if you're above 25, 30. Why are you waiting 5 years? Now, if you're dating for 5 years and you were in college, I understand that, right? But even in all of that, she said she stumbled too. Yes, she's still a virgin. A lot of people are walking around and saying, I'm a virgin, but they've also put stuff inside of other parts of their body. There's all kind of stuff going on in human beings, right? The inside of a human being is so deep. You got to be careful with this stuff. Let's keep going.
Been walking with the Lord.
I'm a church baby.
So now
They said, how long have you been walking with the Lord? She said, I'm a church baby. Now, where I come from, we don't accept that. You must have a date when you give your life to Christ. There's a specific date, kind of like the day you were born.
So now we take it to, like, for me, you feel me? You know what I'm
Different
saying?
world.
So it was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So you were around everybody who went to church in the South, but it was folks in the church who were getting it in. So it's like, don't do this, don't do that. But like she said, we didn't have the language. We thought we were believers. We didn't really understand completely what it meant to have a relationship. So then, even after I got saved and I came to the Lord, I still had a little residue still left for me, because salvation, you're working it out. And fear and
Working
trembling.
it out. Yes.
So after I got saved, I still failed a few times. Not because I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. It was just like, it was in me. You feel me? So I had to
It was in me.
work those things out. So if I was on the panel at that time as a believer, believing that Jesus died on the cross, and you asked me was I abstaining, I'd be like, be honest with y'all, I haven't been abstaining. I believe I can, because I believe God is strong enough to do it. But as of right now, I haven't been doing it, and I'm trying to get there.
So plain, if she came to you and said, hey, there's a young man that's interested in me, he feels the way you felt at that time, what would you tell her?
This guy that's backing us right now, I think he's the one on the boards. Maybe he owns the podcast. He's quite judgmental in his assessments. Maybe he's just been a devil's advocate. I'm not sure.
You might want to be careful. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm not saying that he's not a believer. I'm not saying he won't treat you right or respect you, but he does have a lot to work on, because it's hard to, like she said, it's hard to cut the faucet off when you're going, you know what I'm saying? Then they just like, no, and you just like, so it's like, if I've been having sex for years, if I've been smoking weed for years and doing this, yeah, I got the Holy Spirit now, I'm saved. My flesh is a whole different animal. The flesh still saying, yeah.
Welcome, Marriott.
Every night around 9 o'clock, we were doing such and such. My flesh still want that. So I'm learning how to die to that still.
And that's all I'm saying, is that it's something you should be aware of. I implore every man that says that they're a man of God, you have to conquer. If you're single, you have to conquer this part, because this is a big sign that you are truly.
All right.
You know,
so it's a Christian platform, so
bragging about this or that, because God promised he can repair what the locust has eaten.
Yes,
right?
Sean.
God will restore you back to,
Listen
not
to
saying
that.
it, do it, you know,
Right.
it's ask, beg God to give that to you, because
God,
he
do
can
it for
change
me.
it.
Don't
He can
leave
change
the
it.
women out, because we live in a society
Listen to
today
this.
where they leading with that P. Everybody got the best P on the market. You know
That
what
shouldn't
I'm
be the women
saying?
of God, though. That's not our standard.
But
cover your eye gates, your ear gates, your mouth gates. You have a responsibility.
Let me
Don't
tell you this,
listen to
though.
sexually
Let's go to the
explicit
Bible.
music. Don't watch sexually explicit content.
Don't listen to Davido.
Unfollow them. Don't listen to Sexy Red.
Don't listen to Sexy
we
Red.
also have to make sure and understand that we play a responsibility in this as well. So walking on that purity walk is not easy. That's why Paul says he beats his flesh into submission. We understand. Jesus walked the walk with us, being fully God, fully human. He understands, which is why I
want
like
you to hear
think that
this.
my Jesus be blushing when he
Something
look at
she's
me.
about to say.
Because I be trying my best, even when I fall, to where it's like you have everything, your power, everything in you is telling you to defy me, but you're choosing me instead.
I'm gonna tell you about that though. So when you said he beat his flesh to subjection, that means the flesh was really resistant.
was wrong.
You know what I'm saying? So
It was really
he even
resistant.
said also, this is a man who was snake bit,
Come on,
shipwrecked, stoned, imprisoned, eventually beheaded. And this man said what when he talked about fornication? He said flee. Paul really was scared of much, but he said run from this mug. And then he says it's better to marry than to burn. If you're burning, then
start happening.
Yeah.
You know, like
Raging.
so learning about those types of
Listen to this
throughout a
one.
lot of my time in the church is that there's not a lot of education.
There
There's
you go.
not a lot of truthful talk about how you're actually wired, how God actually created you, what your hormones do. And it's not a sin.
Let me subscribe,
when you're
actually.
ovulating and things start happening.
Yeah.
You know, like
Raging.
so learning about those types of things, I think is really helpful because I used to demonize my body and I used to hate that part of myself. I felt that whole
Word.
concept of, beat yourself into submission.
Beat into submission.
But you're also made in the image of God. He was intentional in the way that he created every element of you. So if you are experiencing an excitable moment, that is not sin in and of itself. And I think that's the part of like
moment.
recognizing our humanity and not hating it, because Jesus was fully human and fully God. And so there's a reason why he didn't just shut down part of our humanity and say, okay, I'm just gonna hold this off till you get married, then you can access it. Like that's a means by which, to what Sean's saying, we can pray. And
so a lot of this conversation, I really appreciate her submission just now, because I always tell my clients, I said, listen, I'm going to teach you some stuff, but I don't want you to lose your essence. I don't want your partner to lose their essence, because that's what attracted you guys in the first place. I want you guys to maintain who you are at the core. It's just that you need to learn how to manage it, because if you don't, then you end up resenting each other. So anyway, this comment here, this is my first time. This is by Lateras from Dear Future Wifey. The woman of God to the left of him spoke a word that will heal those demonized their bodies. Everyone brought up good points. I think there were enough nuggets dropped for various people to extract what is needed according to their individual walk. We're all at different stages. That's a good one. Somebody said, fellas, if a woman does not have the heart to submit to God, she will not submit to you. Ladies, if a man does not have the heart to obey God, he will not obey the covenant of marriage. Okay. Somebody said, and this is why Anthony O'Neill is still single. Stopped watching him about a year ago. So this person is being judgmental. That's not the reason why he's still single, by the way. It's not single because he's smashing. This is what a lie they're telling themselves. No, that's not why. Okay, if there's any level of truth to that at all, it will be specifically about him and the grace over him. It's not something you can make into a rule for everybody, because it's simply not true. If there's a grace over his head and he's required to do that in order to get to the next level in his life, then that could be true for him. But you cannot turn that into a general rule for everybody, because it's never been true and it will never be true. It's simply not the reality. Like the gentleman was saying, there are too many people in successful marriages. They still have work to do. They're still here. They're still walking through their walk through the rest of their life. So you cannot turn that into a general rule. That's not why he's still single. He's still single because of many, many, many other reasons. When you hear Anthony O'Neill talk about relationships, maybe one of these days I'll do another reaction. I've done it before. He talked about why he's single at 38. I've done it before. Go find it. It's on this channel. The guy is a walking red flag. Before I knew it was practicing virginity or not, it's obvious to me. It's not always obvious to everybody else, right? So there's some other real issues to deal with beyond what you choose to do with your private parts in your privacy, which we will never know the truth anyway. This person, in the words of Tony Gaskin, bro, talk about the stock market. Don't talk about love and relationships. LOL. That's a good point. If Tony Gaskin said that to Anthony O'Neill, I think that's a good point. Like, he should just talk about the stock market and stop talking about love and relationship, because I already felt that way before. And it's not like it's not saying right and wrong. He's saying a lot of right and wrong stuff, but there's some nuances that you could just tell that, oh God, this one has no experience. Please take the mic away from that man. He's not far enough in his walk with Christ to be speaking in front of a group of people like that. He's been a pastor for a long time. He probably was a virgin for a long time too. But again, a lot of people are not willing. They're not willing to just learn how this thing works. So what they want to do is just hide under Jesus and kingdom talk. There's some real work that needs to be done beyond just your celibacy and your virginity. And if you don't do the work, it will come back and bite you. It's true for every one of us. Either you're celibate or not. It's true for every one of us, and life will test you. All right. So that was that with that topic. We got some other stuff to cover today. Honestly, I would have loved to react to the whole thing, but we have some other stuff to cover right here today. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so that you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. Chanel Scott, I felt like God was telling me, the bishop, let me correct that properly, was telling me the bishop was my husband. I'm going to play this video for you. I'm reacting to this video within the fair use guidelines from the Dear Future Wifey, and then we'll come back and then we'll talk.
On and on, I get a call from a private number, and it was him. And he asked us, he basically asked, which, I thought you guys were coming next weekend. And as he said, y'all must have checked out of your hotel already. And I said, yes, we have. He said, well, I'd like to catch up with you guys, but I'm going to go to dinner first. Like, I guess the church at that time was preparing a meal for him. He had lost his wife, so they were, taking care of him. And so we was like, cool. And so we went and we got dinner. And while we were waiting for him to reach back out, we changed our clothes and he called. And the first thing he said is, now listen, he was like, I know, I don't want to say his name. I can't say his name. I can't say his name. But he was like, but what he used his name in what I'm about to say. Yeah. He was like, I hope y'all didn't come here for
Todd. Just say Todd.
Todd Revelations. Because, he's amazing pastor. And I'm like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I wasn't familiar with what he meant. And so I'm like, no, we just came, just to check, come to church, trying to play it smooth, not trying to be too overly aggressive or too forthcoming. And so prior to him calling, right, me and my girlfriend, we're having this conversation. She was like, so where we gonna meet at? I said, girl, I don't know. She said, I know he ain't gonna invite us to his house. I said, I don't know, probably not. I don't know where he'll tell us because he lives here. When he called, he was like, this is my address. I said, girl, he invited us to his house now. And so we went. He said he liked to have, he relaxes on Sundays after church. And so I'm like, okay, that's cool. We just came. We just gonna hang out, no problem. We get to the house. He lives in a big, beautiful home. And when he steps out the front door, he has on a shirt and shorts. That was the first thing. I was like, oh God, where the suit at? I thought that was the bishop. You know, because
I thought they wear suits everywhere.
Yeah,
Thought they sleep in suits.
I just wasn't used to it. You know, I saw him in a certain light.
Yeah.
And so he was himself, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And he allowed us to come into his home and we played Truth or Dare. We played cards. And the games were kind of structured where he could really, I know he was curious about what we were doing there. Yeah. And so with the whole Truth or Dare, that's how we got to the root of it. You know, like.
What was that
with
question?
The bishop?
What did you reveal?
Like, you know, he was like, so tell me what made you guys come down here? And we look at my eyes big as quarters. Cause I don't want to tell this man. I believe God told me you were my husband. I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he want to be too aggressive. You know, and I'm still struggling with it, but I believe this.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, I didn't have the words to go along with it, but I believed it in my heart. And I'll tell you, like, because I want people to who have had these similar experiences. A lot of times when you in leadership in church, women are attracted to the anointing on your life, but they don't.
All right. Women are attracted to the anointing on your life. That's a real thing. Let's keep going. I'm going to tell you like a short version of the story so you can get the gist of what I'm trying to extract out of this episode of the Dear Future Wifey. You can go and watch the full thing. It's almost 2 hours, but I'll give you like the short gist of it and maybe some lessons.
Don't even understand it.
Yeah.
And so I'm still trying to figure it out, but I believe it in my heart. And so he was like, that's what's up. He trying to be all hip and cool and whatever.
Oh, you said it?
No, I said I had interest and I wanted to come in.
Oh, you said interest. So you
yeah,
said
I ain't say that husband stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
I have interest.
I had interest in meeting you. And so we decided to come, is what I said. I did not say, I believe you, my husband. He probably would have put us out right then. And I remember him saying when we decided to spend the night, I was like, well, I'm hungry if we staying. And so we left my friend behind. He and I went to the kitchen. So we're talking. And I just remember him saying, you know, this is not like a defining moment or anything. And that's how he saw it. Meanwhile, I'm thinking this is purposeful. This is defining. I'm like, he must don't know, Lord.
He must don't know,
he must
Lord.
Don't know.
He a little slow, Joe.
Oh my God.
But I was afraid. Now I was nervous, like, because I mean, I was young. I was 33 years old when this happened. I'm 50.
I wasn't young.
I was like, I respected him and who he was, you know. And at that time, I really desired a husband. Like, it was an unhealthy desire because I had accomplished everything that there was to accomplish at that age.
Mm.
And so we spend the night. And the next day, I mean, he was still cool. He was like, well, he played basketball back then, like in the morning times. I'll never forget. He was like,
all right. So she spent the night at the bishop's house. I think there's a friend. She also said they slept in the same bed, but somehow they didn't do anything. All right. But let me give you a quick a summary of what she's talking about. She said a young bishop lost his wife. And he happened to have visited their church. Did she say Atlanta or something like that? And but in another city entirely. And then she took a liking to the bishop. She felt like God was telling her that that's her husband. You know, sounds like a man who is a very sharp guy. You know, the guy ran a mega church in Nashville, Tennessee. So she decided to take a drive down. I think she said about 4 to 6 hours drive along with her friend to go visit the church. Again, no calls, nothing. They have no connection whatsoever. Didn't know each other. She was just infatuated with this guy. So she called it interest, right? So she went down, they drove down, they attended the service, they enjoyed the service and everything. But I think she had sent a message. Go listen to the full thing. Go and support Dear Future Wifey. So she had basically sent out a message. She called the office of the church or something like that, the assistant, something like that. And then the assistant did not pick up, but they left some kind of message that they are coming to visit from out of town. So when they showed up, never really met the pastor because, again, it's a mega church. And then, talk to the assistant. Oh, they thought you were coming next week, something like that. Unimportant details. Bottom line is that they checked out of the hotel. They had checked in the hotel, I guess, the night before. They checked out of the hotel, getting ready to drive back to our own city. I think she said Atlanta or somewhere in Texas. I think it's Atlanta. But yeah, so they were getting ready to drive back, and that's when she got the phone call. So Bishop was, oh wow, you came to blah blah blah, and then ended up giving them the address. They ended up at the bishop's house, and she said they were hungry. The bishop, they could stay the night. They played Smash or Pass. No, not Smash or Pass. They played Truth or Dare. They played Truth or Dare. So, but she also went on to continue the story. They ended up kissing that night. Something about, like she can kiss him if she can't tell the truth. You know how that game works. But that's what happened. So now this next part here, she told a little bit more about what had been happening in the church. I think she ended up moving to Nashville because she was actually very obsessed with what she felt in her spirit. She felt like God was telling her that the bishop was her husband. By the way, this lady is 50 now. But let me play again. Remember, she said she was obsessed. She didn't use the language obsessed, but she wanted a husband. And she said the desire for a husband was quite unhealthy. She said that. Okay, I guess we can call that obsessed. But let me play this one for you, this clip right here. Then we'll talk.
And that's where it gets real tricky.
It gets real tricky because when I moved there, obviously I'm not the only one. I'm new to this. It was so many women that believe that man
Are you
was
hearing
their
them saying
husband.
that?
Yeah, I met a few. I sat next to one lady in the congregation. She was like, God just led me here. And
she moved there too.
She came to visit. She didn't move. She came to the church to visit. I worked with another one who moved from Alabama. Said, me and him, we have an assignment together. I said, this some ugly curse.
Me and him have an assignment together. Another lady and a bunch of other ladies.
I met women who believe this thing. I did. So.
And while you were hearing them say that, you never put yourself in that same category.
You know what? No, because they never had the encounter. So I was hanging my hat on. I met him. I know he attracted to me. At least I got that.
And you can least.
So the way she justified herself is that, remember that kiss from the Smash or Pass? No, sorry, Truth or Dare game. Right, that kiss. That's the reason. So she felt like for her, it's a little bit more confirmed. She had there was an attraction, obviously, because obviously the bishop stole a small kiss.
Say we kissed.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, at least one time. We did. And I just, I don't know what I was thinking. Like in hindsight, I'm like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking?
And what was your cousin telling you?
You know what? Me and her wasn't even talking at the time by now.
Anyway, if you want the full story, go watch Dear Future Wifey. I think the episode is season 9, episode 905. Now, let me tell you. I'm going to read some of these comments here. These comments are interesting, ladies. This is what I tell you. See, again, this is part of that kingdom talk stuff. Kingdom talk can only go so far. In this life, it's either you have the skills or you don't have the skill set. That's what it comes down to. Either we're talking about how to attract a husband, a wife, or you're talking about how to handle conflict, handle crisis in an existing relationship already. Fighting each other is not going to work. Obviously, if it's a marriage, existing marriage, and just kingdom talk, it's not enough. Okay, it's not enough. It can only get you so far, is the point. It can create a good environment for you to nurture everything else, right? A certain environment, a certain vibe, ambience, maybe by the kingdom talk that can help you. But in the end, you're going to need some skills because you're competing with the rest of the 8 billion people here. You need skills. The media is real. The influence of the media on all of us is real. So if you're not prepared for the impact on your relationship, you go collect. So I'm looking at some of the comments. Somebody said, years ago, a lady from my church was 100% sure a man was her husband. They said this is very rampant in church. Why? Because we've been giving those testimonies for all those years. And those testimonies have that power. Yes, those testimonies have the power to control and redirect your life in a weird, delusional, twisted way. Yes. Also in a positive way. But I'm just saying, most people, what they're doing, like I'll tell you right now, my pastor, every time there's going to be we have testimony Sundays once a month, he has to do like a little pet talk at the beginning, like, hey, this is not the part where you take somebody's conversation and you go start backbiting or you start gossiping behind, because people do that. Anyway, they were dating. Okay, so she said, years ago, a lady from my church was 100% sure a man was her husband. They were dating, but that man chose another woman who he admitted he didn't seek God to see if she was the right one. She was just the woman he wanted. Okay, so listen to this. By the way, while she was in Nashville, the lady we were just covering as to while she was in Nashville, the guy ended up marrying somebody else right in front of her face. And she was working for the church and she had devoted her life for the church and she was very involved in the church, keeping the hope alive that one day this guy will just pop the question right in front of her face. Over a period of about 4 years, she said, the guy actually proposed to somebody else and married somebody else. Go listen to the video. It was a painful thing to listen to when she was talking about it. Anyway, I personally believe if God tells you a man is your husband, God will also tell the man. Listen, this God said thing. There's gonna be more conversation around it. Just wait for it. Just remember that I said this. Right? God said. I feel like God was saying like that stuff. Human beings are not your mates. Okay. We manipulate everything. We twist everything. She admitted to it. We twist everything to fit the narrative we want it to look like, including God said. Okay. And the funny part about all of that is that a lot of people just lack discernment, spirit, or abilities. So they can't pick it up. Once you say God said, you get them. That's how you get them. Just say God said. It's over for them. Anyway, I'm here. So what's their way around it? We are human beings. There are patterns. There's a skill sets that you can learn. Especially if you're not 25, you're no longer 25, 26, 27, 28. You cannot be winging things along in this life. You go collect. Anyway, and that man will lead the relationship, and we also have the free will. That man can decide to not choose you, even if God presents. This is all gibberish talk. It's a waste of talk, essentially. Another person said, this happened to me years ago. We were friends for about 4 months. We kissed once. We were in seminary class together. He gave me a lot of mixed signals. A leader of the church said he was my husband. I was immature in Christ. This was 9 years ago. I was so confused, but God is not an author of confusion. Even bought a wedding dress. Shake my head. There's a lot of women like this. I told him I loved him and he pulled back. I snapped out of it after my sister said, a man who loves you wouldn't confuse you. Now I'm married and healed from this devastation. I heard someone say that your idols speak clearly to you and you think it's God. Oh yeah. Oh, that's profound. I like that. I think I should round that up right there. Your idol speaks clearly to you and you think it's God. Another way that I've usually said that, if somebody says I idolize getting married, I totally get it. Being there, I learned so much. Another way that I usually say that is, the devil is always going to come for you from a blind spot. If you're obsessed with people that say God said, the devil is going to come to you looking like that. So you're going to need a little bit more than kingdom talk. okay, to figure this thing called life out. So she's telling me she doesn't know how mega pastors operate at this point. She's the other equation of that dynamic. Yes, women wanting pastors, that's a fact. They love the power he has over others. Pastors love free, silent, unholy pum pum. The testimonies are mostly their feelings. 2 men from my church told me they saw I was their wife at the same time. Exactly. So, ladies, you got to be careful. Gentlemen, obviously, there's a lot of responsibilities for you in this regard. That person is absolutely correct. If you love a person, you wouldn't confuse them. You can be in love with them and confuse them. In love is a form of affection. It's your emotions. Loving a person means you are actually being intentional. You're actually trying to do life together, and you understand that there are skill sets that you need to learn, not just today, not just before the marriage, but on an ongoing basis. You remain a student of it for as long as it takes before it becomes second nature. And even at second nature, it's all a moving target. You have to keep working on yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of kingdom talk does not allow people to do that. It just basically tells people subconsciously, it's not something I expect anybody to admit to. It's subconscious. It tells people that there's nothing else to do than to just obey. Sometimes what they're obeying is the ideas they already nursed in their mind as what it's supposed to be. Remember I spoke about that when it comes to the Jesus babies. They orchestrate it, make it look like what they want it to look like. Men will use money to buy the kind of love they want. Women will use their looks, their attraction to create the picture of what they've always dreamt about. To an extent, that's a healthy behavior. To a large extent, you might want to be careful. Like, again, it's okay to have butterflies and have feelings of attraction towards another person, but at some point you got to be like, okay, I'm about to do life with this person. Let's not move mad. Let's understand what we're getting into, because obviously we're caught up in our emotions, which is a good thing. Again, you're in love, but again, what else is in your blind spot that you can't see? Ladies, you cannot vet a man by yourself. You can't. Okay. Gentlemen, if you don't have a higher self, a higher version of yourself, a God that you yield to, right? A few accountability partners around you that can actually hold you accountable, you're probably going to fail too. Just letting you know. So it goes to all of us. All of us need some level of authority, accountability partners, systems in place, so that we can make sure that we're covering all the bases. You're about to do life with this person. And I always say, you can't say it's too late because you've been married for 5 years. Today is a new foundation. It's a brand new opportunity to get it right. Okay. So that story, heart versus reality. This is a struggle for a lot of kingdom people. We're going to keep talking about it because I'm a church boy myself. But if you notice, I tend not to say God said, God said, God said. It's not that I don't have very strong conviction on certain things that I know is God saying it. It's not that I don't know when God is saying something, but I need to set myself apart from the labels. Okay, and honestly, it's getting annoying these days. So, and I'm saying that with all humility. Anyway, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, join the conversation in the comment area. And I will be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, welcome back. I have a super story that I want us to analyze together real quick. I've lost control. My wife, feminism, and a mother-in-law from hell. All right, so I don't know what to do anymore. I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out because I'm reading now, okay? I'm going to read it through and I'll analyze. I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out because I don't have anyone else to turn to. My marriage is falling apart and I don't know how to fix it. Maybe you can give me some advice or at least help me understand where I went wrong. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Is that interesting? Not the same story, different story. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee 3 years ago with my wife, Tolu. Okay, so it's a Japa marriage. By the way, the names are changed. It was a Yoruba person, but names are changed. I always keep the same tribe just because a lot of cultural nuances that I want to maintain in some of these emails when they come along. So I maintain if there's if I know for a fact that a name belongs to the tribe, I maintain that. Okay. So personally, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee 3 years ago with my wife Tolu. After we got married, back home in Nigeria, we were excited about starting a new life together in the US. Things were fine at first, but over the last year, everything has changed. It's as if I don't even recognize her anymore. Recently, she's been spending more and more time listening to these YouTube channels that push feminist ideas. She listens to them for hours, and it's changed her. It's like they've poisoned her mind against me. These channels are always talking about how women don't need men, how marriage is a form of control, and how they should focus on their own independence. I'm scared. I see the way she looks at me now, and I know she's starting to see me as the enemy, not as her husband. She started withholding sex without explanation. One moment, she acts all empowered and tells me she doesn't have to explain anything to me, that her body is her own, and she'll decide when or if we'll be intimate. Wahala. Then the next day, she's going to church programs back to back, saying she's trying to get right with God. The worst part is not even the church we used to go to together. She's refused to attend my church here, the one we agreed on when we moved to Nashville. Instead, she goes to a church that her mother recommended. It's almost like she's following whatever her mother says without considering my feelings at all. Her mother, that's another issue. She's in Nigeria, but her influence on our marriage is constant. Tolu can't make a decision without checking with her mother first. Even when we argue, the first thing she does is call her mom, and then suddenly the entire direction of our lives is dictated by her mother's advice. I've tried talking to Tolu about this, but she just brushes me off, saying that her mother knows best and that I should be grateful she has someone to rely on. I feel trapped in my own home. I tried asking her to sit down and talk about things, but every conversation turns into a fight. She accuses me of trying to control her, of not supporting her growth or her newfound independence. But I'm not trying to control her. I just want my wife back. The woman I married was strong, but we were a team. Now I'm just alone, living with someone who treats me like I'm either invisible or some sort of oppressor. The strangest part is the inconsistency. One day, she's acting like she's some liberated woman who doesn't need a man, and the next, she's glued to church programs and prayer sessions. She even accused me of not being spiritual enough to lead our family, which is why she said she won't come to my church anymore. It's humiliating. I can't live like this much longer. I'm tired, frustrated, and completely lost. Every day feels like a new battle, and I'm just too exhausted to keep fighting. I'm constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that anything I say or do will trigger a new argument, or worse, another long silence where she just ignores me completely. Honestly, sir, I don't know what to do. I thought coming to the US would bring us closer, give us a fresh start, but instead, I feel like we are miles apart, living in the same house. Every time I try to reach her, I feel like I'm slipping further and further away. It feels like she's become a different person, one that I don't understand, I can't connect with anymore. I'm not sure what the next step should be, or if there even is a next step. All I know is I can't keep going like this. Any advice you can offer will mean the world to me. All right, so any advice? That's it. Before I analyze, or anybody has any advice? Let me see. Marriott, first feminist channels, now mom. Wala. I don't know. I need to keep spraying.
Nigeria don't repass to go
Anyway, let's talk about it. I told you it's quite a long one, so let me try my best to get through this. I'm reaching out because I don't have anyone else to turn to. My marriage is falling apart and I don't know how to fix it. You see, why people say I don't have anyone else to turn to, you know what they've done? They've basically told so many friends about their issues. They discuss it. They're not talking about their family, but they're talking at the same time. So those people are starting to avoid them. There are some people that have talked about their spouse to friends so much, even the friends are tired. They don't pick up the phone. They know what you're about to get into, and they can't have it. Some of them are starting to say, I don't want to be a part of conjugal matters. So, some of them are literally telling you like that. So, that's where that's coming from. So he's tired of talking to everybody else. They're starting to avoid him, and now he's turned to us strangers. Let me see. Black Diamond says, I am sensing bipolar disorder and the new environment might have affected her mentally. Check first with a GP. Thanks for telling me you live in the UK without telling me you live in the UK. GP, did you mean a doctor? You mean like a general practitioner? I don't know if it's only UK where they say that, but it's usually UK people that use the term GP. LOL, those rabbit hole toxic channels are strong. They change people's brains. They will, especially. But the thing is that they don't just change people's brain. There's a void somewhere in the first place, right? There's a reason why that person was attracted to that channel in the first place. And oftentimes we like to pretend like, oh, they just fell out of the skies into a toxic channel. You know, if the toxic channels, if we try to fix the toxic channel, what does that look like? We're telling them to stop doing toxic channels. How is that going to work? It's not going to work, right? Anyway, let's see if we can help this brother, Sha. But yeah, I agree with the checking with a GP. But here's the thing: is she willing to go to the GP? No, if she's not willing to go to the GP, he could go to a GP and share some insight, share some, this is what I'm going through, blah blah blah. The GP might be able to refer to the necessary people. But hit the like button. Let me get back to my analysis. Keep adding some comments in the session as we're getting through this, if you have any thoughts. My marriage is falling apart and I don't know how to fix it. Maybe you can give me some advice and at least help me understand where I went wrong. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee 3 years ago with my wife Tolu after we got married back home in Nigeria. So it sounds like it's a fresh marriage. So they are under 4 years, I guess. Right after they got married, they moved, if it's immediately. We were excited about starting a new life together in the US. Things were fine at first. That's usually the case. But over the last year, everything has changed. It's as if I don't recognize her anymore. Okay? Recently, she's been spending more and more time listening to these YouTube channels like push feminist idea. Brothers, let me tell you something. Okay, all the Jides, his name is Jide. The name we gave him is Jide. Right? All the Jides out there. Okay, if your wife is listening to a channel and now you're snooping around and you now notice that these people are pushing feminists, and then you're getting obsessed over that. Okay, let me warn you, you're going to push your wife further and further away down that rabbit hole of that channel. Okay. You're going to probably overreact. You're going to also pretend, well, not pretend, maybe you don't really know. You're also probably not aware or pretend that there was no void that attracted it to such platforms in the first place. Sometimes it's not directly the experience in your marriage that attract them to that. Some people, what attract them to such conversations could be somebody that they lost somebody to similar topics, right? Maybe a sister, maybe their mother have gone through some things and they vowed that will never be them. So when they start engaging these topics, it's not necessarily your fault. But the key thing here is that you don't want to overreact to your woman watching a YouTube channel that's seemingly like all about feminist ideas. You don't want to, if you overreact to that. Now, again, if you are 22 years old and you're just running your mouth on the internet, you can overreact to anything you want. It's just that the quality ladies can smell that. You become a walking red flag and they don't want to marry you. They don't want to date you beyond just one date. You might look good, high six-figure man, six packs, all of that, right? But you probably can't retain a lady, okay? Because why? Because you're also getting soaked up in nonsense and overreacting. But anyway, but if you're already married to this person, the last thing you want to do is overreact when in crisis. The way he just talked about these YouTube channels with feminist ideas, he feels a sense of crisis. He's afraid. He used the word, he's afraid. He said, she listens to them for hours and it's changed her. Okay. Yes, changed her. I guess you could say that it's more like influence, right? What we listen to influences us. The scripture talks about faith cometh by hearing, right? But how? Why? What was the void in your relationship in the first place should be the angle of where you can learn one or two things. Again, when you're confused, it's time to learn something new, okay? Because the flip side of that is that we can start telling all the channels that you think are feminist, to stop, or we should police them to stop talking. Obviously, that's not going to work. That's a loser's battle, right? It's like they've poisoned her mind against me, against you. Interesting. All right. So now you start to feel like the whole world is against you. Like it's them against you, them including your wife against you. So it makes sense that you're overreacting. But again, the point here that I'm sharing this is check yourself. Stop overreacting. It doesn't mean there are no issues to address, but the first step is to stop the bleeding. You're bleeding out badly. You're going to continue to bleed all over the situation. It's going to be messy. Calm down, okay? The feminist channels are not your enemy, I promise you. There's a void in your relationship. That's why she's yielding to that. And that is filling the void. Maybe temporarily, maybe it's not going to be long term for her, but first step is for you to manage how you see these things. He says these channels are always talking about how women don't need men. Okay. How marriage is a form of control and how they should focus on their own independence. Okay, I'm scared. All right, so again, fear. You're operating from a place of fear, so you're going to overreact. I see the way she looks at me now, and I know she's starting to see me as the enemy, right? But you are also starting to see a bunch of strangers, YouTube channels, as the enemy. That's not going to work. So she's seeing you as the enemy, not her husband. All right, so something triggered them to go watch empowerment videos. She must have felt powerless in the relationship. There you go. It's either she's feeling powerless or she can relate somehow, some way, and that's what's going on here. And for most men, they can't see that far. They just argue with their destiny. But hopefully, if you're coming here, I hope you can listen clearly to what I'm saying. The point here is that you can't afford to be overreacting to that. Is she watching feminism videos or feminist guru videos? Those are different. This brother probably doesn't know the difference, and he could care less. Either one, it won't matter. The best way for him to react to this is to not overreact, because it only gets worse. She started withholding sex without explanation. Okay. Withhold sex with explanation. I'm trying to think, what does that look like? Hey, oh, I'm withholding sex, or I'm fasting tomorrow. Yeah, usually that's not how it goes. One moment she acts all empowered and tells me she doesn't have to explain anything to me, that her body is her own, and she'll decide when or if we'll be intimate. Now, this conversation that leads to her saying that, I doubt very much that it was just that simple. It sounds like it was part of a bigger conversation, like a part of a bigger argument, right? For a woman to get to a place where she said, my body is my own, my body, my choice, and she's using such language with you, we can both agree that she's lost respect for you. But why? What happened? Okay. Now, again, remember I was saying she could be watching feminist video or videos about certain empowerment for women thing, and she's watching those things, right? Maybe she's watching because she can relate, because she has secondhand relating to it, right? Maybe, right? But it could be because of her, the experience she's having with you, or that she once upon a time had with you, or that her mother had with her father. This is why you don't overreact. You need to understand what's going on first, right? But if she's saying language like my body is my own and she's withholding sex, then she's definitely lost respect for you. Quote unquote, she's not in love with you. A woman who doesn't have respect for you cannot be in love with you. So in other words, everything is going to close up, sealed shut, and you can't enter, you can't penetrate. That's what she's trying to say. So this sounds to me, if she's saying my body is her own, my body is my own, she will decide when, all this kind of stuff, sounds like a woman who is no longer in love with you. Again, I said that sounds a little extreme, but that's just now. She's not in love with you now. You need to understand that first. Okay? You need to see that for what it is first. Right? That doesn't mean she's your enemy. I can understand that you feel that she's coming off as your enemy, or she sees you as the enemy. She sounds like she's trying to protect herself from something, maybe you. But bottom line is that down there is still shut. She doesn't want it. That's the bottom line. You can use any language you want. She weaponized it. She withheld it. You can take it to the pastor so that they can shame her to open it up for you one night, but she will even resent it more. She will shut it down now for even longer period of time. All that may work short term, but it won't work long term, because the bottom line, she doesn't want to. And I know rejection feels horrible. I get it. But again, as a man, you should get to a space where you're okay with rejection, and then work on yourself, work on your situation, so you can reject rejection in a way that's sustainable, of course. Exactly the same way men who have collected turn to red. That's it. It's the same issues. There's a reason why men turn to those things. We can't just turn around and say, hey, no, there's a reason. Most men that have collected shege from the hands of a woman, even if it's not her fault, they're the one that find themselves in those spaces. Okay, so again, my body's my own, all this kind of stuff. Withholding sex without explanation, that is a sign of deeper issues. If you get stuck in the symptoms of the issues, you will make matters worse. Most people will get stuck in the symptoms. Okay, most people will get stuck in shaming that person to submit. Let's beat it down until she gives up the quikus. It might work for one night, a couple of times, but you're probably just making matters worse. Then the next day, she's going to church programs back to back, saying she's trying to get right with God. The worst part is, it's not even the church we used to go to. So if she's doing back and forth in your eyes, she's confused. She's trying to figure something out. She's lost herself, right? Just like you have lost yourself. The worst part is, it's not even the church we used to go to together. She refused to attend my church here, the one we agreed on when we moved to Nashville. Instead, she goes to a church that her mother recommended. Sounds, again, she's seeking a safe haven in the hands of other people but you. She doesn't feel safe with you. again, don't take this wrong or wrongly. It's just what it is. You need to see it for what it is first so you can fix it, right? She doesn't feel safe with you. And it's not going to be as simple. Why don't you feel safe with me? No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be, you're going to need to learn how to listen. There's some things she's saying that you skipped in this email, okay? There's some things she said before everything you said in this email. Sorry, guys. I know I didn't mute. Just try to get some quiet studio time. All right. Sorry. Let's see here. Mara says shouldn't give up. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The worst part is not even the church that we go together. Okay, so this church again, she's going to another church. Sounds like you used to go to a church together, but she decided that she wants to go to our church. Most likely, I've seen this case all the time. Most likely, she's going to a church of where she was raised. Okay, the first time I saw that was my mother, actually. Right, the church I go to today is Christ Apostolic Church. That's the church I go to today. But originally, my father's family, our family is Anglican, right? And we went to Anglican when I was growing up. The first church we went to was Anglican. Eventually, we ended up at the White Garment Church. So I'll say between the ages of, from ages birth to 3, I was in Dallas, Texas. That would be Baptist, Black American Baptist type of thing. That's what I was told. From ages 4 to like 6-ish, 4, 5, 6, okay, roughly around 4, 5, 6, we went to Anglican church because that's, we moved to Nigeria and then we went to Anglican church. I remember the church now. I think the church, I'm trying to remember the church now. I forgot the name. It's an Anglican church in Akure. And then from like 7, 8, 9, all the way to like 10 or 11, we went to White Garment Church. It's a church that was a spin-off of the Holy Church of Christ. I think the Holy Church of Christ was a spin-off of Cherubim and Seraphim. And I think, or the other way around, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is a descendant of Cherubim and Seraphim type of church, And guess who took us to that Cherubim and Seraphim church? It was my mother. But when the family where I was raised, my mother and my father, at one point, they scattered their situation because of some situation. They had their own marriage crisis. In that period of time, guess what my mother wanted to go to? She wanted to go back to her father's church. So her father was an elder at the CAC. Yeah. So we moved to Owo when I was 12 years old. Yes, 12 years old. We moved to Owo, and then she started going to CAC. My father decided to stay in the White Garment Church. And but at that time, I remember her saying, if he doesn't, all the talk, all the infidelity talk, whatever. And then she said she's going back to her father's church. She was looking for a place where she can feel safe. Women will do that. They might go back to their roots, or they will tag on to another pastor somewhere, a bishop who seems a little bit more promising to give them a peace of mind, right? But there's always a reason why people are running around spiritual homes. There's always a deeper reason. Again, the one thing you can do here as a man is don't overreact to it. Let her sort it out. All right. Around about 2013, 14-ish, one day my wife just said, the church I was going to at the time, she just said she doesn't feel something. She wanted to go try another church out. She was having a lot of in hindsight now, I think it was mostly stuff she was going through personally herself for her personal development, and she was just confused with a lot of things. And but the way the symptoms were, I don't like what this one did, this pastor did this, and the pastor said that. Now we're complaining about a lot of things, but a lot of things we complain about in any church, we don't just up and leave the church. But when it's becoming like, okay, I want to just go to another church, thinking that the church is going to be better than the church you're in, that's usually a personal deep issue, that people need to walk through. And the best thing you can do, what I did at the time, is to first of all, I was able to tap back into, I remember, right? I think deep. So I thought about, I remember that my mother went through something similar. So what I told her, I said, that's fine. If you want to go to the church down the street, I'll pick you up from there. You can pick me up, whatever works. That's what I told her at the time. Unbeknownst to me, that the marriage crisis we went through was starting in a very funny, twisted way. That was the beginning of the issue that we had in our personal life. You can read all of the stories in Get My Marriage Back. Okay. But funny enough, I knew enough at that time to say, yeah, sure. But she actually resented that. I said, okay. So you never know how they're going to react to it. But the point is not overreacting, so you can at least see what's going on. Like within a few weeks later, in addition to people saying, where is she? Okay, let's call her. She came back, but it was a quick fix. It was a temporary fix, if you will. But the point here I'm making is that, women can do that. People in general can also do that. They're looking for a place where they can feel safe, and it can be very confusing for them. The last thing you want to do is make it bigger than what it is. Your parents were seeking their spiritual home. They were confused. The best thing I can say is they were confused. We ended up, when I was around 13 years old, we ended up at a church called the All Christian Fellowship Ministries, which is Pentecostal. My mother became a SU. My father came back home. And this was a long story for another day. Maybe my father will come and tell that story himself. It will be his second time here. Anyway, he became an elder and all that. So now, let's get back to this. So don't overreact to the fact that she refused to go to church. Here's an example of overreacting. It's her mother that make her do it. Listen, there will be more than enough reasons around you to point at. There's more than enough things, scapegoats that you can point at and say, this is the reason. It's because you're watching The Feminist. It's because your mother did this. It's because of your friends. Gentlemen, once you start to do that, you are showing signs of confusion. You are confused. Okay? Just look at it this way. One day you say it's the mother. The other day you say it's the friends. It's because of the friends she's carrying around. The other day you say it's this Western world, right? All right. But what is the bottom line here? The bottom line is that your wife is feeling a sense of void. They're feeling safer in the arms of another person, in the arms of another entity, another institution, another organization, rather than feeling safe with you. I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's a question that you should ask yourself. Why? What is it about our relationship that is not making her feel safe? It's a question that you need to really take your time to process, because it will give you the clarity you're looking for. Okay? And if you overreact to all of these issues, in other words, calling her mother and cussing her mother out, or throwing slight statements at her family and say it's because of this, or you friends, I did some of those things too. If you do that, it just gets worse. I used to be like, let's just tell the truth, let's just call a spade, and just say it's that person's fault, it's that person that you have been hanging out with. It might even get worse. It might even get worse, So you don't want to be doing all of that. You want to calm down, understand that there's something deeper than what you're looking at going on. Her mother, that's another issue. She's in Nigeria, but her influence on our marriage is constant. The family she came from will always have influence over her. Okay? But if that influence was not big enough for her to if it wasn't big enough to stop her from marrying you, then you have even a bigger influence. But at this moment, your influence is lower. She's lost respect for you, right? So now she's reflecting back. Maybe this was all a mistake. Maybe this marriage was a mistake. Maybe I didn't vet properly. Maybe I should have listened to my father. Maybe I should have listened to Pastor Kingsley a little bit more. Maybe I should have bought that program that time. She's questioning everything, right? So what do? You turn around and say, well, these are the reasons why you should continue to question it. It's your mother. That's where she came from. Of course, they have influence over her. How much influence she will run back there if she doesn't feel safe with you? Yes, she will continue to yield their advice before she decides, make major decisions, because she doesn't feel that safe. She doesn't respect you. Again, it's not necessarily your fault. It's just a reality that you must face. First, you were asking, what is the first step forward? You need to, as a man, see the reality for what it is. It's a harsh reality. It's a very hard pill to swallow, but you need to see it for what it is and be very honest with yourself. All the is this person's fault, is this all that, you need to lose all of that. The blame game, lose all of it. Okay, get rid of anything that sounds like you're blaming people, blaming things, blaming the Western world, the feminist platforms. You need to get rid of all those things, because those things will pollute your ability to actually pull your family back together. It will pollute, to make things worse. Okay, you definitely, then for sure, you can't be shaming her mother or anything like that. You can't do that. It's only going to get worse. That's her mother. Okay, that's who she feels the safest with right now. Anything you say against her, make it sound like you're controlling. Hey, that's why they say you're controlling. They say you're controlling. Yeah, because actually you're being controlling. I'm letting you know right now. This statement is a giveaway. It's a quick giveaway. When you say, without checking with her mother first, Tolu can't make a decision without checking with her mother first. Just because you're controlling doesn't mean you mean to be controlling. Just because you don't mean to be controlling doesn't mean you're not coming off to your partner as controlling and manipulative. You need to separate the two. Separate your intentions from what is actually happening, right? The experience of the person is what you need to pay attention to. Is that person experiencing a controlling jide? And then you need to pay attention to that. You don't have to say, oh, it's my fault. That's not the point, because guilt is just as terrible as blame. That's not the point. I want you to just see it for what it is. She's seeing you as controlling. Why? Because you're probably overreacting to her yielding to her mother for advice, running around those churches that you don't want her to go to. You probably try to put your foot on the ground, but she's like, put your foot on the ground. My body, my body. There's nothing you can control here. What happened to the jide that somehow got her in bed without telling her that she must be in bed with you? That's the question you should be asking. Even when we argue, I'm continuing, even when we argue, the first thing she does is call her mom. Wait, so you've been arguing with her? Okay, all of us have done it. But these are part of the problems. You're arguing with her. It takes two to argue. Everybody should remember this. You see how I push against when people say it takes two to tango, as I push against it. Not when it comes to argument. If you're arguing, it's because both of you are engaged in an argument. Okay? You can have a disagreement, right? You can disagree with an ideology. You can disagree with an opinion. But once it's an argument, especially arguments that leads to fight, as he says, then the issues here are deeper. All right, so even when we argue, the first thing she does is call her mom, and then suddenly the entire direction of her lives is dictated by her mother's advice. I bet you think it's her mother that's also advising her to not have sex with you. I bet you think that. Or maybe her friends. Anyway, I've tried talking to Tolu about this, but she just brushes me off, saying that her mother knows best and that I should be grateful she has someone to rely on. Okay, so here's another giveaway. Listen to this statement very clearly. And I quote, I've tried talking to Tolu about this, but she just brushes me off, saying that her mother knows best, that I should be grateful she asked someone to rely on. Let me come to the chat. What was that conversation about? Let me read it again to you. He's tried talking to Tolu about what? About this. What is this? But she brushes me off. Okay, saying that her mother knows best and that I should be grateful she has someone to rely on. What is the conversation about? Because he's talking about, he's trying to talk to Tolu. Can somebody tell me in the chat, what is the conversation about? Anybody tell me in the chat. What is the conversation about? He said, I've tried talking to Tolu about this, right? Based on that full statement, what is the conversation about? Exactly, communication is key. What you say is differently from how it's perceived based on the relationship you have. Yes, it's all different. That's why active listening is key, right? Active listening is key. No, I'm listening. No, it's not good enough to listen. Active listening. You need to listen without any preconceived response. Okay, that's what you need to do. All right. So what was that conversation about? Let me read it again to you. I've tried talking to Tolu about this, but she just brushes me off, saying that her mother knows best and that I should be grateful she has someone to rely on. What is the subject of that conversation? Anybody? I feel trapped in my own home. I tried asking her to sit down and talk about things, but every conversation turns into a fight. What are the conversations about at this point? We should get by now you should get what kind of conversation he's been having with his wife. She accuses me of trying to control her. Why? How? Tolu's mom. Thank you, Black Diamond. So you want to have conversation with her, but you make the conversation about Tolu's mom or the feminist ideas or the YouTube channel she's been watching, or about the fact that she shuts down the Kwekus. Right? I understand. I feel your pain. But if you make the conversations about those things, I'm not sure what your expectations are. I know that everybody expects that just communicate. If you talk about it, everything will be fine. But what is it that causes people to be defensive when you're having quote unquote communication with them? Like the moment you want to start talking, they just get defensive. Before you land a line, they already have answers for you. So we should blame them, right, for being terrible at communication. Blame, that's a poison. That's a problem. Blame care. Blame Bitibawo. That's a poison. Look on the screen. Number 3. You can't come from that place of blame. You can't do that. The book How to Win and Influence talks about the 3 C's, right? Complain, criticize, condemn. Those 3 C's will always poison everything for you. It's not going to work. It doesn't matter how great your intentions are. It doesn't matter how much kingdom talk you put into it. It doesn't matter how God told you felt like God was trying to tell you something. If it sounds like any of these things on the screen right here, you're going to get defensive. Ladies, the same thing is true. If they feel any of this in your attempt to communicate, if they feel it, even if that's not your intentions, they will get defensive. So in other words, you will fail at communicating. No, but they failed at communication. No. Relax. Remember, I'm not trying to say it's your fault here. I'm just trying to let you know that the reality is that you failed to communicate. If in your attempt to communicate, the person you're communicating with feel any of these emotions you're looking at on the screen, they're poisons. They will work against everything. You will have to start from ground zero, if not below ground zero, meaning damages, meaning resentment, meaning now they think they need to forgive you or they can't forgive you, and all this other extra layers of emotions you have to walk through. it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. All the while, it's not that you're necessarily wrong.
You're right.
It's not that. But your results are obviously wrong. So it's time to learn something new. Yes, all this extra thing that he thinks are the cause of her behavior are the topics that he's having. These are the topics, point of contentions. And he's been trying to have conversation with Tolu, and Tolu sounds like a person that just gets in defensive. Before you land your first line, they already know where you're going. They shut it down. Not only is she shutting down the Kwekus, she shuts you down. She can't hear you. So now I have a choice. I can say, Tolu should not do that. Ladies, women, don't do that. Don't shut down on your woman. Sure. Ladies, don't shut down on your man. Listen to your man. Respect your man. You will end up in this street. So yeah. Unfortunately, Tolu is not here to hear that. Tolu is not going to hear that. It is Jide who sent this email in, and that's the person I'm talking to. So Jide needs to stop making all the symptoms the issue. There are symptoms. He needs to dig a little bit deeper and get to the root cause of the issue. The root cause of the issue is not Tolu's mom. That's another human being entirely. And dragging another human being through your mugs is not going to work. And even dragging her, she will turn around and call you controlling. Because that's what she's feeling, right? Is she right? No, you're right. She's wrong. She's wrong.
You're right.
You're right. She's wrong. But she's not here to hear that. Let's talk about you, okay? The point is that if you're going to have conversations around your marriage, you cannot bring up this feminist stuff. Tolu's mom, no, she's going to get defensive because she can already smell it that you hate her mom, by the way. Just in case you don't know yet, she already can tell that you hate her mom, that you're disgusted by her mom at this point. She can feel the energy. You don't have to say it out loud. She can feel it. Anyway, how? That's a jump question, though. I don't know where to start with that, but she can feel it. Okay, she can feel that you can't stand it, and she I don't know if she knows that you've been monitoring her, how she's watching the feminist channels and stuff, but she can feel the energy coming from you, and that's why she's defensive and shutting you down. So the first thing is to take a step back away from all of that stuff. Active listening. You need to listen to her. What is she trying to say? Not what she's saying. What is she trying to say? Oftentimes, a Tolu will be terrible at communication, of course. Will not know how to express her feelings in a constructive way, of course. In fact, Tolu might have been fantasizing about another world without you, of course. But you're still the one that's there. You're the man. You're still the man, right? So there's a lot of work we can do here. But the first work is to back off of all these things you're blaming. Take a step back away from. These are called the weather. That's just rain, sunshine. They will happen. You can't blame those things. In-laws, her mother, are you kidding me? That's you shooting yourself on the legs. You need to make her your ally. And that's not going to happen now since you hate her. You need to understand that's going to be a process. But if the mom is already feeling some type of way about you, of course, she's not going to outrightly say, hey, hate your husband, close down the Kwekus from her, no. But she's going to be like, hey, so he did that? I can't believe he did that. And then she's going to feel worse and worse about her choices in a man. So in other words, she might actually be protecting you from her mother. And you can't see that part because you see her mother as the enemy. The point I'm making is to back off of that rhetoric of blaming your in-law. It's not going to work. It's going to continue to backfire. It will work continuously against you. They are your family. That as far as reality is concerned, they're your family, and you're going to need to fix a lot with regards to that relationship. But that's not the primary issue right now. The issue is your wife. What is she trying to say? Not what she's saying. What is she trying? Are you saying I have to read minds? Oh Lord. You are a mama. No. But yes, Yes, of course. You need to listen beyond what she's saying. Okay? It's going to take time. It's going to take more than you saying, hey, let me say something too. If you do that,
You doing what?
if you do that, it will work. She'll get defensive. You've experienced that already. She's not going to listen to you because she's actively trying to protect herself, potentially trying to run away from you into the arms of her mother, the feminist channel, the feminist people, a pastor, a counselor. You never see anything yet. If you don't calm down and again, back off of the blame game in general, anything that looks like you're blaming people and you're judgmental, you're criticizing, you're condemning, back off from that. Okay. He said, I feel trapped in my own home. I tried asking her to sit down and talk about things, but every conversation turns into a fight. She accuses me of trying to control her, of not supporting her growth or her newfound independence. But I'm not trying to control her. Okay, so she needs to see that. You can't say that in words. The fact that you're saying that in words is actually controlling. Uh-oh. Sorry. The fact that you say that statement, I'm not trying to control her, is actually controlling.
Sway.
Listen to me. I know that's not your intentions. You didn't mean to control her. I get it. Okay.
He shock you.
You didn't mean to control her. I get your intentions are off, and you're like, wait, but I'm a good man. I never control my wife. I get it.
What?
I get it. Okay. But see that statement? I'm not trying to control her. I just want my wife back. Well, I can't judge you, right? But I want you to pay attention to the nuances here. Okay. What is she feeling? I just want my back. I want my wife back. I'm desperate. I desperately want my wife back. What does that look like in the way you show up in conversations? Does she feel safe with you? If she doesn't feel safe, then it makes sense to me why she might call you controlling, maybe even narcissistic. It makes sense. Because what does it look like when you overreact, right? When you get angry and you say, enough is enough. What does that look like? I don't know what that looks like. I would like to know what that looks like. If we're being honest, what does that look like? I'll see. We'll get there. You know, you're asking me what the first step. The real first step is to sign up with a complimentary coaching session. That's the real first step, really. Okay, but I'm just saying, maybe we can get to. Maybe you can tell me some truth about what does it look like when you overreact. You're a human being. Of course, you overreact sometimes when your wife just suddenly shut down the kpekus, withhold the kpekus from you, and start manipulating you with the kpekus, knowing fully well that she committed. She said a vow. How dare she? She said a vow in front of the whole world. In health, in sickness, till death do us part. How dare she? And she claimed to be Holy Spirit. And she's tried to do holy, and one day she's seeking God, and the other day is madness. She wants freedom. She wants to be liberated. Is she confused? Yeah, she's probably is just as confused.
Well, you're right.
Yeah. But never mind her. Let's talk about your own confusion. Right? Yes, you can influence the change you're looking for. In fact, that's the only way. You have to influence the change you're looking for. Especially if you're the man, absolutely. You have to lead. You don't have a choice. You're leading, by the way, already. You might not realize it, okay? You're already leading, but I want you to be a little bit more intentional about how you are leading. All right, but I'm not trying to control her. I just want my wife back. The woman I married was strong. But we're a team. Now I'm just alone, living with someone who treats me like I'm either invisible or some sort of oppressor. You've lost yourself. You need to find yourself first. I can tell you that. You can take that to the bank. I can tell you that for free, and you can take it to the bank. You've lost yourself. You're not abnormal. You should want your wife, but she doesn't want you right now. The strangest part is the inconsistency. One day she's acting like she's some liberated woman who doesn't need a man, and the next she's glued to church programs and prayer sessions. I'm not sure what the comparison between prayer sessions and not needing a man is, but let's just run with it. She even accused me of not being spiritual enough. That's the confusion. She thinks if you're just spiritual enough, if you just pray enough, she's probably starting to compare you to her pastor. Okay, the truth is that women find prayerful men sexy. That's the reality. Especially if she's groaning back and forth between churches, she probably find prayerful men sexy. So does that mean you should become prayerful? No, I think it's the leadership thing in it. The fact that you can lead and you can lead your woman to God. That part, yeah, it's probably a disconnect in that, right? You probably say, hey, we're going to a church together, but I'm not really involved in the church. What does that look like when you also bring in what's your ability to listen? I mean, let's look at this here. Are you just calling her mom out in your spirit, or you've actually said something out loud? Can she feel that you hate her mom and all the feminists in the world? Gentlemen, the last thing you want to do is to become of as you hate feminists. Don't do that. If you do that, and you find yourself in this space already, about you go collect.
Sorry.
Oh, Kubeno, I think you're using the wrong channel to comment. We can't pray. I beg, leave us alone. You can't pray, but it's not the prayer. It's an element of prayer. It's the leadership thing. They see when they see a man on that pedestal and he's saying, God said, it does something to their soul. And if you don't have other aspect of life where your woman yields to you, she's going to run to that pastor. In fact, she might start fantasizing about being the person that God has called to be that pastor's wife. Don't be surprised. You see these things all around you. So let's not act like we're strange to this. I just covered the story of Chanel Scott. She was 33 at this time. Now, she wasn't married. But anyway, let's keep going. He said it's humiliating, which is why she says she won't come to my church anymore. It's humiliating. Okay, so if she sees that your spiritual life is not where it's supposed to be, and she's going to church with you, and she feels some void in your relationship, of course she's going to run away. She's going to go look for safety somewhere else. I can't live like this much longer. I'm tired, frustrated, and completely lost. I just said it. You've lost yourself. Okay. In fact, the first thing I would tell you if you sign up in my program is we got to take care of you. We got to take care of you. Okay. You too, you deserve soft life. It's probably no wonder, or little to no wonder, why she doesn't find you sexy anymore. Have you been taking care of yourself? I'll be like, we're husband and wife. What else are we looking for? Is she asking me to have 6 packs? I'm not asking you to have 6 packs, but I'm just saying, can she look at you and see 6 packs in you? Can she? She might not see it physically, but can she picture 6 packs in you, figuratively speaking? If she can't, yes, she will fantasize about 6 packs. So I'm just warning you. What kind of life is this? So women are just looking for 6 packs, 6 inches all over the place. About you go explain tired. Hey, you go explain tired.
Explain. Because no evidence.
It's figuratively speaking. Okay. The point is that she doesn't respect you. Okay. I see way too many women and say, I beg, leave her. Leave is 1 pack like that. I love it. I kiss over it. Yeah. Why? Because in their head, you are that guy, right? And some other women, they have a 6-pack man at home, or they attracted one, and then they notice that it's a little boy after the fact that he's like he can't separate his intentions from the actual result. That like, this one is not a man. Is this really a man? So it depends on how you. Bottom line is that women like to be able to respect. They naturally want to respect. It's a natural thing. They naturally want to respect their husband. If they can't respect their husband, you have problems too. It's not going to be as simple as ordering her to respect husband though. The problem is deeper than that, I promise you. Every day feels like a new battle, and I'm just too exhausted to keep fighting. I'm constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that anything I say or do would trigger a new argument, or worse, another long silence where she just ignores me completely. I guarantee you that this one thing would not trigger her negatively. In fact, it will trigger her attraction back to you. Taking care of yourself. Okay? And I'm not talking about hitting the gym. There's too many red pill men in the gym that never took care of themselves, and they wonder why their life hasn't changed for better. I'm not talking about just hitting the gym just for the sake of. I'm talking about taking care of your own mental health. Stop making it about her mom, the feminist people, the YouTube channel. Stop making it about that. How about yourself, your personal purpose in life? When was the last time you yield into your personal purpose as a man? What is it that you want to do with the rest of your life in terms of your career, in terms of things you would do when you wake up, that even if there's no money attached to it, it just makes you feel fulfilled? Everything I just said, does that sound strange to you? Yeah, of course, she can't respect you now. Right? You're waking up day and night, like you're pretending like she just shut down the Quakers overnight. Did she shut it down overnight? What happened before that? Wait, nothing happened. Wait. First, have you asked the question? Have you been patient enough to listen to the answers? There's a good chance you haven't done that. There's a good chance you haven't done that. If you've done it, she's an evil woman. Leave her alone. Move on with your life. Okay? If it's not that simple, then you're a liar. There's some kind of value you're getting from her, and you haven't paid attention to the value you're getting from her. What you paid most attention to is what you resent the most about her mother, right? And the fact that she shut down the Quakers, that part, I feel your pain on that. But again, you cannot fix the issues by getting stuck in the symptoms. You have to dig in deeper, go deeper. Walking on eggshell is not going to fix the issue. If you are more concerned about just yourself now, self-care, self-love, if you focus on that right now, right? You don't have to walk on eggshells around that. She might just start to wonder what you're up to, and then that's effectively rebuilding attraction all over again. But if you continue to say, I talked to her about it. What are you talking about? About Tolu's mom? Tolu's mom should not be deciding the fate of her relationship. You are talking about the symptoms. She will continue to run away to where she feels safe. Right? One day she will get the courage to pull the trigger and divorce you. Okay? Now, if she's just straight up evil, I already gave you the solution. Leave her, let her go if she's evil. It's unlikely. Okay. Honestly, sir, I don't know what to do. I thought coming to the US would bring us closer. No, coming to the US will expose your nyash. Okay, give us a fresh start. But instead, I feel like we're miles apart, living in the same house, so you're living like roommates. Every time I try to reach her, I feel like I'm slipping further and further away. It feels like she's become a different person. She's becoming a different person. She's evolving. Well, that's not inherently a bad thing. It just depends on how you see it. Half glass empty, half glass full. It's completely up to you how you see that. She's becoming a different person. How do you react to that? What are you becoming? Who taught you that? Who taught you that? Is that your mom again? You don't say it in words because you're a good guy, but it shows in your energy. She could tell that you resent her mom. Trust me, she can tell. One that I don't understand and can't connect with anymore. By the way, some people do say it out loud. Is this what your mom taught you to do? This is what happens when people have when they are the second wives and they are the product of a polygamous family, and you start running your mouth. And this is what happens they never marry a woman who the mother never listened to her father. If this is how you approach it, your wife, please don't act surprised around me, please. Okay, don't do that. Okay, you're creating, you're leading. Either you like it or not, you know it or not, you're still leading. She's multiplying it for you. Okay, I'm not sure what the next step should be. The next step is to reach out to me for coaching. Okay, because this is a lot going on here, and it's not going to be as simple as I've told you everything you need to do, but you need support system. because you probably have bad habits that's creating that. Your bad habit could be as simple as you don't love yourself. You are with a very evil woman that you should leave alone. It could be that too. I doubt it, but it could be that. Just in case, just in case you think like, no, he's just always talking and pandering to women. No, your wife could be an evil wife, mother of your children. She could be, okay? And yes, but is she? You don't know? You're confused? Okay. Sign up for a free complimentary session, and then we'll get into the details, a little bit more details of what's going on. And if she's a human being and she cares about something, not you per se, if she has something she cares about that matters to her, then this is a very simple issue that you can resolve. Is it easy? No, it is not easy. Okay? You're about to rebuild, and it's going to take a while. It's going to be a process to rebuild. But let me come to the chat. Let me see if anybody's saying anything. Which one is picture 6 packs? Picture. My husband has 1 pack, but I picture 6 packs in Jesus' name. There's some people that love their husband at that level. You can't tell them nothing. They don't see it. They don't see all that extra stuff, but they feel so safe. Like that's non-issues, right? But of course, if your wife doesn't feel safe with you, she will start fantasizing about 6 packs and 6 inches and 6 figures. And then you'll be like, oh, it's because I'm not making enough money, Baba. Stop the cap. She got with you. She knew exactly how much you were making.
Stop the cap.
It wasn't the money. It's something else. Now, she's seeing money now. Because obviously you guys have deeper issues. But let me know. Join the conversation in the comment area. If you're watching this later on, join the conversation. Let me know what your thoughts are. Give him an advice in the comment area. Okay? Give him a feminist advice, a red pill advice, all of that. In between advice. A scripture kingdom backed up advice. I think he can appreciate it, But yes. I got one more thing I want to cover. Obviously, I want to cover the headliner here today. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I'll be right back.
Hey, Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. Welcome back. Let's talk about Mowry and Cory Hardrict, right? Mowry is an American actress, just in case you don't know. 46 years, I'm still thinking she's 17. But anyway, 46 years old. Mowry is one of, they're actually identical twins. Are they identical? I think, almost identical. I don't know the difference. Mowry is an American actress. And they used to have the sitcom show, when we were growing up in our teenage years into the early 20s. The Tia and Tamara sitcom show, very popular actress, both of them actress, TV talk show host, all of that. Okay. So, but she filed for divorce in 2023 from her husband. She filed for divorce. She was over it. She was done. She was done. And she called it at the time. She said she was, what did she say again? She was graduating. she graduated from a 14-year. At the time, they were in a 14-year-old, in a 14-year marriage. I know. I'm asking the same question too. So Tia seems like she's having a struggle time with this this divorce of a thing as an idea that a lot of women are frankly fantasizing about. And I understand. Again, the story we just covered, Black Diamond said if you stop being desperate and focus on self, like you said, desperation is unattractive. Yes, that will kill it. That's going to be one of the secrets we're talking about here too, right? So she moved on, divorced. She started doing interviews, and one of the interviews she talked about she doesn't see it as a failed marriage. See it as kind of like similar to see a 1-pack as a 6-pack, but not really a 6-pack. Okay, so she's not saying it's not failed, but she sees it as 14. Anyway, we talked about that back then. But since then, she's been at one point she will flaunt pictures like she's moving on. She started showcasing all kind of stuff and different things, So, but she seems like she's struggling. I want to play this video for you guys, and then we'll talk. This is what she said in a recent interview. What is this on WeTV? I think she has a talk show or something. I don't know. She's on a reality TV show or something like that. But let me play this and then we'll talk.
The family dynamic of having a mom and a dad in one household. And when you're dropping your kids off, you actually visually see how that is no longer.
We're about to go to daddy's house now. Being alone has been the most challenging part of my divorce. It's times like this when I feel and wish that my sister and I were still close and I could, pick up the phone and call her. But that's
the family dynamic of having a mom and a dad in one.
Just not where we are right now.
How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I've been seeing the headlines. I know y'all are going viral right now with the awkward hug. Like, it's so
exhausting.
stupid.
It's exhausting.
I know.
The red carpet video, yeah, about that. This was the first time that Cory and I had ever seen each other on just not where we are right now.
How you doing? How you feeling?
All right, so let me see here. I think there's another one here. Okay.
The family dynamic of having a mom and a dad in one household. And when you're dropping your kids off, you actually visually see how that is no longer.
We're about to go to daddy's house now. Being alone has been the most challenging part of my divorce. It's times like this when I feel and wish that my sister and I were still close and I could, pick up the phone and call her. But that's just not where we are right now.
How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I've been seeing the headlines. I know y'all are going viral right now with the awkward hug. Like, it's so
exhausting.
stupid.
It's exhausting.
I know.
The red carpet video, yeah, about that. This was the first time that Cory and I had ever seen each other on
the family dynamic of having a mom.
There you go.
Had ever seen each other on the red carpet since the divorce. This is an event where women are being celebrated and honored. And he had never gone to any one of these events. I go to them almost every year. It was blown way out of proportion. Had ever seen each other on the red.
All right, so now let's talk. So again, we're talking about Mowry, and that's what they're talking about now. That's how she's made the news again. And there's a lot of people just running their mouth on the internet as usual. And when they're talking or making comments on this kind of issues, they just tell on themselves, But what is the secret of bringing Mowry and Cory Hardrict back together forever? Honestly, I don't think they're coming back together. But I see how it can be easy. It's possible that they can come back together, by the way. But I see how it can be easy for some people that are fantasizing about, if you leave your marriage, it is the end of the world. I said, not necessarily. You're saying that from the standpoint of a person who is looking from the outside in, right? So just because she's very outspoken about her dating experience right now does not necessarily translate to that she's fantasizing about getting back in that marriage. I get it. It's a fantasy that I actually have for them. I think Cory is also a solid guy. But I think there's a lot more to Cory than a good guy, right? You could be a good guy. Just because you're a good guy doesn't mean you're competent. It doesn't mean you're a skillful husband, right? Definitely because you're a good-looking girl like Tia doesn't mean you're a skillful woman, a wife. It doesn't mean you're a wife. It doesn't mean just because you've been in the marriage for 14 years doesn't mean you are meant to be a wife too, right? Or it could have been exactly what she said. It lasted for as long as it needed to last. We graduated 14 years later. Wala, 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 wala. Anyway, but it's not. But I see a lot of this comments, and I wanted the comment is what I really wanted to react to, and then we'll round up. So she said that they're no longer close. Her and her twin sister, and it's just not what it is. The twin sister is married and with kids and children, so she's probably busy with her own life, or they might have toxic stuff going on too. We don't know. She didn't say much of that. This person said twins not being close sounds crazy. Really? Doesn't sound crazy to me. They're just siblings like any other siblings. But again, a lot of people fantasize that twins will be just close, always glued to each other's hips forever. It tells you how deep people think. They don't really go beyond the surface for the most part. Most people think from a very myopic place. They don't take the time to really think, Y'all are sitting here saying she gave up on a good man. We don't know what went on in their marriage. Did y'all not hear her say she's been going to these invites for years alone? He never participated, but now that they're divorced, he's now attending. That speaks volumes. He never valued her. He didn't listen to what she wanted, what she loved. That's a good point. That person listened. I could see that. That happens a lot. People start to change their behavior once it's too late, or once they've lost a good person, right? People start to listen suddenly because they've lost that person. They took that person for granted. See finish. It happens all the time. So that shouldn't be a shocker to people, but it might be. Who cares about Cory? I'm sad the twins ain't twinning. Don't care what y'all say. Y'all can never make me hate her. Okay? This comment section is weird. Chock full of accusations and assumptions. Shake my head. Not having your family while dealing with life is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Somebody said, I feel her. Sister bonds are important. Relationships change once you get older. For me, I'm very intentional. Just last night here, my sister in love, my wife's younger sister, popped up 10 p.m. Like, okay, somebody go grab me a shirt, because I fling my shirt away when I'm in my house, right? Grab me a shirt just to be decent, I leave them. Okay, it's not something that happens every day. That's an intentional thing. In other words, my feelings is like, all right. I just choose to leave them alone because I can see further than just that moment, right? What a lot of men will do is like, your sister, especially if the sister is single, she'll stay in her house too sometimes, does not realize that you are married. It's late now. You have to think beyond your feelings. Your feelings are deceptive by nature because they are feelings. They go in and out. If you notice you have some type of feeling, you feel some type of way, that's feelings, right? Check yourself. If it's something that doesn't happen every day, you're intentional, you leave it alone. So I understand the sister bonding thing, but it's not every sisters or siblings that get that, especially when it comes to the ladies. So I kind of understand that when she's talking about that as well. Tia and Tamara not speaking. My 2024 bingo card has run out of space. Voila. That's been speculated for the longest. That's really sad that it's true. Sibling relationship often change as you age. So you can see they're talking about sibling relationships there. So it's probably more so about the sibling thing than it's about her and her ex. But she did mention the ex. They met on a red carpet, and she can't stand that. You know, a lot of women, they go through a situation where the picture they're painting of their husband, which is their experience, when they tell it to other people outside, they don't believe them. They say, "What, Cory? No, it's a good guy." Wait, like it's like everybody just sees that partner from the lens of a person that was never really in that marriage. She saw what she saw. She experienced what she experienced. Only her can really speak to that. Somebody say, I love Tia. No one can make me hate her. This has been like this for the longest. She wasn't even Tamara's maid of honor. Yeesh. Some people have been following them for years. Says, I remember Tia and Tamara's reality show from years ago, and even back then, their relationship seemed strained and one-sided. They always seemed like they were at odds over something. Yeesh. That's rough. Not too much on Tamara now. If you all watched their show, you know Tia is the problem. Jesus. All right, so somebody said Tia is the problem. Let me go to this one. Somebody said, F the divorce. What happened with her and Tamara? I said Tamara. What happened with her and Tamara? That's what I'm sad about. Okay, somebody said they are literally been together since 2000. 15 of those years married. So her being emotional about being alone is warranted. Being with someone 24 years and then poof, not anymore can't be a good feeling regardless of who initiated the divorce. So they're shaming her. Okay, and these people wonder why they can't last in relationships. All right, the number first, I think the number one on our list of poisons here is shaming. Shaming is poisonous. But we're just talking about Tia Tamara. No, this is your behavior in your own relationships. You criticize, you complain, you condemn. It's just who you are. Stop the cap. Start, acknowledge that first so you can start paying attention to it. Okay? So how do we hold people accountable to? Self. Start with yourself. And then maybe we'll figure the rest out. I see Portia's comment here say, praying for her to be separated from two people she loved and loved is so hard. Hopefully they can rebuild. Sisterly love is so important. I do think sisterly love is important to women. To men, not so much. Not so much. My brother and I, we're as close as ever. We can go 14, 15 days without actually talking. Text, random text. He's in this out. Yes. If I feel the need to talk, I just pick up for a call. If he needs to talk, he will just pick up and call. I think it's a little bit of a different experience for women. As an identical twin who is close with his twin, this hurts my heart, man. I didn't know they weren't close. All right, Tia resonates more with her black side and Tamara more with her white side. They are twins, but they have completely different personality. Jesus Christ. Another angle. Forget him. I want to know why sister ain't on good terms. Okay, the name of that show, the sitcom was Sister. My bad. I said Tia and Tamara early on. It was Sister. Having a relationship with your siblings growing up, then not having it as an adult is hard. Speaking, okay. Why do people keep saying, get your husband back? Okay, so I can't see those comments here, but that's probably the fastest people to comment. Get your husband back. Having a man does not make a woman complete. And that person capitalizes. I'm going to tell this person to stop the cap. Yeah, I can smell
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. What do you mean by it doesn't make a woman complete? Tell us more, the rest of the story. I don't think it makes a woman complete, but can you tell me the rest of the story? What do you mean? She filed for divorce for a reason. No woman, I agree with that. No woman is going to leave a happy marriage. A woman is going to leave a marriage if it is unhealthy. Again, he's a good guy. He might be trying to fix things right now. And I think he should continue in that path. And if he continues in that path, there's a good chance, because there's nothing really out there in the streets. There's a good chance she will continue to yield back to him. They have children together and stuff like that. But with rhetorics like this capitalized stuff here, I don't know how easy that's going to be. Stop saying get your husband back. That does not solve every goddamn problem. The problem is that these things are not absolutes. Okay, the people that are saying it doesn't make a woman complete, they're saying that as an absolute. You know, the reality is that when you're in a healthy, fulfilling relationship, man or woman, you feel complete precisely because you're with that person. Precisely.
Stop the cap.
Because you are with a good match, a person that you complement each other. So that's why I said, what do you mean? Okay. Somebody said Lisa and Ray need to fix this. You can tell her and Tamara aren't close anymore. Learning they aren't close. Okay, they're talking about Tia and Tamara. You can want a divorce among the loss of the life marriage you had in some aspect. So divorce. So the point is that a lot of people are fantasizing that she's just regretting. She's just regretting. Are they going to back together? No, it's not going to be that simple. Okay, it's not going to be that simple. Okay, do women regret divorce? Some women do. Okay, but it's not because she's crying on the internet that she's having some emotional moments. It's none of that. That's the fantasy of people who would like to shame women who left unhealthy relationships or unhealthy marriage. That's the fantasy on that end, and that fantasy is the reason why many marriages don't stand a chance of coming back together, or many failed marriages don't stand a chance, because they keep trying to come from that angle of shaming the person who left, and it's not going to work. There's a reason why that person left in the first place, and you keep being dismissive about that reason. You're pushing them further away, and I know they have the right to cry about the death of that marriage. And no, you're not going to shame them to come back to a marriage that clearly was not standing, regardless of how much you want to shame. Oh no, it's her fault. She shouldn't have left. That's a stupid talk. At the end of the day, she left for a reason. And if Cory, you look at things that way, he would never attract her back. Never. Okay? So at the end of the day, the reason why she left is a standing reason. It's a valid reason. Bottom line is that she left. She was running from something, someone, the marriage. She left. People can come back together, but you're not going to use shaming. If you use shaming, it will be short lifespan, just like the marriage, the original marriage in the first place. Okay. So Natu says, I can't imagine not doing life with my twin sister. Natu is a twin. Hopefully she will bring her twin here one day. We have two different personalities, but she's my ace and go-to person. Yeah, so she's probably struggling with that. That's probably why she's having that emotion. And even if she was having emotion about her ex-husband, it doesn't mean that she now suddenly wants to go back. That's trying to oversimplify the idea of a person coming to a place where they've concluded that divorce is the solution. You can't simplify that to your obsession, to shame. It's not going to be that simple. All right, do me a favor, everybody that's here. I want to say shout out to the 6 of you watching me live today. I usually don't do Sundays, so the algorithms are probably not friendly today. So, but we're struggling. That's the fact. We're struggling with the algorithms here. I always like to disclose and be very upfront with you guys on that. The way you can help is to always hit the like button, share, subscribe. Now, I see how you guys, especially those of us Prestige family in the backstage, how you're sharing videos. I also share videos. Everybody will just share videos as we go. Do me a favor. Make sure you're sharing my videos to other platforms, other groups as well. Okay, it goes a long way. Hitting the share button, sharing it to your Twitter page. If you don't have a Twitter page, yes, you can just open a Twitter just because of Man of Prestige and the Prestige family, and help me share these videos on Man of Prestige. So for example, today, right now, we just went through another 4 masterclasses all in one. I'll see you guys most likely at around 7 or 8 p.m. on Tuesday, okay? Because I'll be joining an event with the United Nations General Assembly thing on Tuesday. So, but I want to do a show that day, but it might be late, okay? So just keep in mind for that. I'm not doing a show tomorrow, for sure. But we'll be doing Sharp Edge News tomorrow, late in the evening tomorrow night. You'll see Sharp Edge News as a channel in the homepage of the channel. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Shout out to you guys for being here. I appreciate you. For those of you that are here right now, I appreciate you. Thank you. We've had a slow month, but I appreciate you guys are the one keeping this going. So, but I want to say thank you. I appreciate you for being here. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.